And welcome back to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here from the Eau Gallie Commodores Stadium. Rockledge and Eau Gallie competing tonight. We had a little bit of a weather delayed about an hour and 15 minutes. But we'll be kicking off here in about 10 minutes-ish. Terry, the wait was long, but now it's time.
Yeah, it's definitely time. And I saw these young men as they had an opportunity to run back on the field. They were kind of like, riling up each other, both teams. So good thing it didn't get out of hand or get physical, but you could tell that both teams are ready and they're excited to go hit something. And I'm ready to go ahead and watch every minute of it. What about you, Zane?
Both these teams were getting in the face of each other as they grouped up in the end zone on our south end zone. And you could see that both teams – they're like, this delay needs to hurry up, and we need to get on the field because we're ready to hit something. And as we mentioned earlier before, both teams 0-1 coming into this one, needing this win badly. Rockledge, a very young team, some little kind of minor mistakes, but amounted in them losing that game a week ago at Vieira, 22-21. Eau Gallie on the road at Vero Beach a week ago. Lost their starting quarterback, Joseph Allen. Tough injury, and they had to lean on skill players as Xavier Larice, Xavier Corbin. You saw Captain Roll. You saw Gabriel Player. You saw those guys able to take carries and kind of move the ball, but just one-dimensional, Terry. And let's be honest, you're not going to win a game if all you can do is run the ball.
Yeah, and quite honestly, you and I talked about this offline where Vero Beach just put 8 or 9 men in the box the entire time because it was pretty much kind of daring Eau Gallie to throw the ball, and it worked out in their favor because they actually got the victory.
So what made it kind of tricky as well is when you got the touchdown and you went for the two-point conversion because you're trying to get back in the game, you're running the same play every single time, Terry. They already know what's coming, so the two-point conversions didn't go the way of the Commodores, and they fell in that one 41-31. But coming back now for Game 2 of the prep football season, this is an exciting one. As I mentioned earlier, these are two schools that are dear to my heart. That I went and attended both of these schools, so very familiar with both the schools. I'm familiar with both of the head coaches, Coach John Holmes for Rockledge and Coach Chris Sands for Eau Gallie. We are going to take a moment as they will play the national anthem. You hear a lot of clapping, and fans and players are really ready for this one. So we are about to be underway here from Commodore Stadium, home of the Eau Gallie Commodores, taking on the Rockledge Raiders. A season ago, Terry, it was Eau Gallie dominating Rockledge 40-0. There's not a lot of players from Rockledge that really remember that. But the ones that do, I know on their minds, they're like, we're not letting that happen again.
Yeah, I mean, the new coach for Rockledge, right? So he's probably saying, okay, this is a clean slate. But in the back of his mind, he's already understanding. Most of the time when you coach a new team, you want to find out the history of the team. And I can guarantee you that Coach Holmes circled this game because 40-0 is unacceptable. And he's not that type of coach, and he said not on my watch. And I am definitely anxious to see how he's going to come out and coach this team tonight.
I'm very I'm really excited for this one. I think Coach Holmes has that mentality that it's one game at a time, but with every single game, each team is going to feel what the Rockledge Raiders can do. And that's what he told me in the offseason is we may not win every game, but every team that we play is going to feel what we can do. And a week ago, they lost that game against Vieira, but I guarantee you the Hawks said, hey, that guy he's a good player. That guy, he's a good player. Oh, that guy, he gave me a hard hit. So these Rockledge Raiders are going to show up and play hard. So, Terry, this one, I'm ready for this one.
Yeah, and Coach Holmes, I know he wants to have that renewed success. You know, Rockledge has had success in the past, so that was one of his things that he wanted to tell the team is that this team has that renewed success. We've been here before. We've had great talent. We put countless of people in the NFL and collegiate football. If you want to be one of those guys, you're going to have to display it on the field tonight.
So you see both the teams taking center field as the coin toss is being flipped right now. This is a big matchup, Terry, for number 7, Donovan Richardson, who is now an Eau Gallie Commodore. He was a Raider last year. He remembers the thrashing of a 47 loss that they took. And I can imagine that he's probably playing this game like, hey, I know you guys were my teammates last year, but guess what? I'm going to show you what this team can do as now I'm on the other side.
Yeah, you definitely want that get back, right? So it's going to be exciting. I mean, this team is pumped. I like to see that the fans are still here because most of the time when you have a weather delay, that kind of deters folks from wanting to stay out and watch the game. But the fans are here and they're live, and good to see everybody out tonight.
Yeah, this is a great night for football. We had a weather delay for about an hour, rain for about 20, 30 minutes, but now it's subsided, and we are getting ready to kick this one off here in just a moment. You see number 12 there for the Eau Gallie Commodores, Joseph Allen. He's on the crutches. A tough injury a week ago against Vero Beach, and I know the team and probably really the fan base of Eau Gallie felt that one as he's your guy. He's a consensus 3-star with multiple Division I offers, and really probably was the captain, not only just the captain, the leader of the offense, but the glue guy for the offense. They have many skill players. You're gonna hear Xavier Corbin a lot. You're gonna hear number 4 Gabe Player. You're gonna hear T.J. Monroe. You're going to hear Larice. You're gonna hear all these guys' names, but the offense does not go as it should without number 12. So a big loss. You're going to see a lot of really different plays that you would normally see but not see tonight. So going to be a different offense. And the big question, Terry, is how did they adjust without their starting quarterback?
Yeah, and so the coach had a week to answer just that very question. You know, when the backup quarterback got in the game last week, he looked a little shook. He looked like he wasn't prepared, and rightfully so. You know, he was the backup quarterback, but you should always be prepared, right? But this week he's had a week. He's got an opportunity to learn the playbook even more. So this is going to be a tall task tonight, but we're going to see if he is able to come back and bounce back from that last week loss.
So we see the Rockledge Raiders are now taking the field.
And don't forget, Zane, you know the last time when we were broadcasting this Eau Gallie game, when they scored, they had those cannons that were going off. So it kind of shook you the last time. Me being a former sailor, I'm kind of used to it. But I tell you what, it got me excited when I heard those cannons go off.
Well, both teams have now taken the field, and it looks like the Rockledge Raiders are going to kick off first. So a week ago, we saw Vero Beach get the ball first, and they marched down the field and scored. But when you kick to number 6 of Eau Gallie, Xavier Corbin, he took it 100 yards for a score. If I'm Rockledge, I watched that film and I'm like, I don't think that we should kick it to Mr. Corbin.
Enter at your own risk, right?
Yep.
You're gonna have to kick to him, but you have to be strategic how you kick to him as well. But I don't think Rockledge, they've heard about what this young man is capable of doing. He's a freshman, but he's not going to let that deter him. So if you give him the opportunity to return this kick, he's going to try to take that same opportunity and hit his head on the goalpost.
Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. We are finally underway here from Eau Gallie as the Rockledge Raiders will be kicking off first. It is going to be the Rockledge Raiders in the white and black and the Eau Gallie Commodores in the all red. As the Raiders are getting set to kick off. And the kick is away. It's going to be Corbin. And he's going to get a pretty decent return. He's up to about the 22-yard line.
Yeah, if you're Rockledge, I know you was thanking God for him not running that back.
Most definitely. So as the Eau Gallie Commodores finally take the field for their first offensive possession, it looks like it's going to be the backup quarterback, Brody Grantland, who is going to take the first snaps. Like we mentioned earlier, we saw him a week ago take over after Joseph Allen's injury. He's a little bit shaky, but thrown into a very hostile environment. So we'll see how he performs tonight. It's going to be Grantland in the shotgun.
And you have to give him that chance. You have to give him the opportunity to redeem himself because you're going to need this young man.
He's going to take the snap, and he's going to go deep right away. And he had a guy. That is number 0. That is TJ Monroe. You're going to be hearing his name quite a bit as well tonight. So he had a guy deep and just missed him by about 2 feet.
But that's positive. Last week he was a little hesitant of throwing the ball, even though he clutched it. He knew where he wanted to go, but it goes to show you what a difference a week makes.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little bit anxious a week ago to even throw the ball. Now he lets it fly, and that is what you want to see. You want to see some confidence. So actually it looks like we had a penalty on the play. The Commodores are backed up 10 yards. So it's going to repeat first down. We're going to have 1st and 20 for the Commodores. This is putting them at their own 12, Terry.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to run the ball a little bit here too. You don't want to get one-dimensional and just throw it the entire field. But you got good running backs. Go ahead and use them.
So it's going to be a little pitch pass to T.J. Monroe. He's got the outside, and he's going to pick up about 8. That's about a –
But there's another flag on the field, looks like.
That's a pretty good gain for having a penalty that took you back, 10 yards to get 8 of it back.
Now, last week we had an opportunity to cover the Vero Beach Eau Gallie game, and there were a lot of flags in that game. So I'm anxious to see how Eau Gallie is going to be able to correct those penalties because they had quite a bit of penalties last game that really kind of deterred the momentum that they had.
They did, and I think it was the big number. It looked like to be a hold. So yes, they are going to move that ball right back. It's a holding penalty that is going to put them even further back.
We talked about this recently, those penalties. You cannot win a game if you're going to get penalized with the first possession of the game.
Not at all. So with 11:33 left in this first quarter, we have not seen much movement of the ball. We've seen backwards movement. So there's going to be another little pitch pass right there. That's Xavier Corbin down the sideline, and he's ripped out of bounds. Wow. They threw him out of bounds.
Yeah, that was textbook tackling. I believe that was Elijah Floyd that tackled him. And that's what you want. You want to see that type of tackling and hey, I know you a freshman phenom, but, hey, I'm here. I'm coming to watch you on your field, and I'm going to tackle you and make sure that you don't go out and show out on this field, even though we're the away team.
Eau Gallie has a lot of talent. Rockledge equally has some talent on their side. They're not going to be afraid to go and hit players. So it'll be interesting to see how Corbin can perform after 3 touchdown performance a week ago. So we'll have second down, and that's going to be a handoff, a cut up the middle, and that's a pretty solid gain on second down. That's a run up the middle. I believe that was, number 7, Donovan Richardson, who is the transfer from Rockledge. So this is a meaningful game for him.
Yeah, and Donovan Richardson is pretty fast. He's shifty. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to, utilize him a lot tonight because he's very shifty.
So it's going to be a 3rd and long, and I'm kind of curious as to how they play this, Terry. Do you put it back in the hands of Brody Grantland and let him throw down the field, or do you just try to play it safe and maybe get a sweep outside or a quick pass?
I know the jet sweep is what they like, but I have to be honest with you. When that first play, that young man was wide open down the field, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go back and try to attack that again. And besides, look, the middle is wide open, so it's open for you if you want to go take it.
It's going to be about a 3rd down and 10. It's going to be a direct snap and a fake handoff, and that's going to be Xavier Larice, and he's going to get right to the first down marker for a gain of 12. That's going to be a first down, Eau Gallie. If you're Eau Gallie, that is a really good sign that you are able to run the ball and even on a 3rd down and be successful.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, he was not going to go down with just one tackle. He did an excellent job of giving him that first down. Are they marking him with the first down? It looks like they got him a little short.
Yeah, they did give him the first down right there. Okay. So it's going to be first down and 10 for the Commodores at the 24-yard line.
They're going to continue to run him. You have to, because there's a lot of talent, and speed kills.
So for the ones that are just tuning in, thank you for joining the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here. And there's a run right up the middle. Once again, Xavier Larice is going to run for about 12 yards.
Like I mentioned before, Zane, speed kills, and they're going to continue to run. Now, we did see a package where they had their backup quarterback in.
Yes.
But I think the coach realized, okay, we could probably move the ball down the field a little bit better with our runners and our playmakers and get the ball in their hands.
Larice is a consensus 4-star athlete. He is signed to Oregon as a safety.
Committed to Oregon.
Committed. He's committed. He has not signed yet, but he has really said that he shut down his recruitment, but you never know. And there's going to be a pitch play, and that's going to be number 0, TJ Monroe. He's got the outside, and he's going to be gone. So a real confusing type of play there as Monroe takes the pitch and switches field and just dusts everybody.
If I had to describe that play in one word, it would be electrifying. That young man took that ball, even when the play didn't even look right. But he said, give the ball, put it in my hands, and put me in like we down by 10.
So with 8:36 left in this first quarter, it is going to be the Eau Gallie Commodores that tack on the first points of the game. If you are just tuning in, this is the first quarter, and this is the first points of the game. We had about a 1 hour and 15-minute-ish delay for lightning in the area. And it looks like the Commodores are going to go ahead and go for the 2-point conversion, which, Terry, we saw them go for the 2 a couple times a week ago, but the plays did not add up. And what I mean by that is they ran the same thing over and over.
Yeah, and Coach Sands looked like he was not happy, so he wouldn't call a timeout on that play because he wanted to make sure that if you're going to go for 2, you're going to have to execute and put your best play that you have, and he was not happy on that play.
A week ago, we saw excuse me, on the touchdown, that was freshman Xavier Corbin that took that in for a touchdown.
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. And you know what? I actually apologize for getting it wrong because I should have already known it was Mr. Corbin heading to the end zone to hit his helmet on the goalpost like you already mentioned, Terry. But, yes, we had a weather delay, and we are still in the first quarter with 8:36. It is a 6-0 ball game now, and it looks like Eau Gallie is still going to go for the 2-point conversion. A week ago, we saw them go for the 2-point conversions, Terry, but they just ran up the middle every single time. And to your mentioning, Vero Beach could stack the box with 9 players and stop it.
And that's what they were doing. And I did notice that they were running heavy on their left side the entire time. And Vero Beach at that on that game was very knowledgeable of that, and they stopped it every time.
So it is Xavier Larice. He's going to take the snap and run to the right side, and it looks like he's going to be short.
He's got it.
They say he got it, and he gets in there on the right side. So it's going to be an 8-0 first touchdown of the game for the Eau Gallie Commodores. And if you're Eau Gallie, sometimes when teams have to wait an hour to take the field, they're a little bit sluggish. That didn't look sluggish, Terry.
Not at all. But you know what? They were ready for this game. And after you had a performance that you had last week against Vero Beach, you want to go out into the fans and say, hey, we're sorry about last week. Let's make up for it on our home turf tonight. So that's what they're doing. Excellent execution for the first drive of the game. Let's see if they're going to be able to keep that momentum going, because Rockledge has something else to say, too, and they want to score. And I'm anxious to see how they're going to react after being down 7-0 early. Or 8-0 early.
8-0 now. So Eau Gallie is set to kick to the Raiders. Once again, thank you all for tuning into the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, I am Zane Garcia. This is the Rockledge Raiders at the Eau Gallie Commodores here from Commodore Stadium. Special game to me. This is a little day after my birthday treat, Terry.
Happy birthday again.
As we mentioned earlier, thank you. And both these schools are dear to my heart as I attended both. So a very, very great game we have in front of us. There's going to be a return, and wow, a big stick right there. That was number 10, Trey Hill, with a big stick as he hits number 21. That is Camden Allen on the return for the Raiders. And the Raiders will take over on offense and start from about the 21-yard line. But when the juices are flowing like that after a touchdown, it goes through into the kickoff.
Yeah, it becomes contagious. You know, it rubs off on the special teams, and the special team rubbed off on the defense. So I'm anxious to see what they're going to do.
The Rockledge Raiders are led by sophomore quarterback Joseph Watkins. But many players with a lot of talent on this Rockledge Raiders offense. Watch for number 12, who's on the bottom of your screen, Matt Ford, freshman wide receiver, and number 5 as well, Elijah Mitchell. Oh, and there's a bad snap that goes over his head, and he had to just fall on it. There's a pile in his scrum right now to see who has this ball.
And there's a flag on the field as well.
And it is going to be the Commodores who come up with that football.
As I mentioned before, Zane, it's contagious. The special teams kicks off, and then I said I was anxious to see what the defense would do. And they said, hey, take that, Mr. Spain. We're going to get the ball and get this turnover.
Now, I know there was a flag on the play, but it looks like it's going to be on the Raiders. So that flag is –
It looks like he's picking it up.
Yeah,
he took the flag and picked it up, so I guess they're not going to call anything on that.
Yeah, that was picked up. So it's going to be Commodore football, and they're going to be starting right at about the 6-yard line. So inside the 10 with a chance to go up 2 scores. Do you think that's kind of a danger zone for Rockledge early in the game like that?
Danger, Will Robinson, danger. I'm going to tell you this. You and I talked about this earlier, that Eau Gallie won 40-0 last year. They remember that as well, and they're going to try to outdo themselves. Look at this. They're throwing the ball
in the corner of the end zone. And he mossed him for a touchdown.
I know, Zane. I did not see what I just saw.
My goodness, that was a Sports Center top 10 play.
That is a TPN.
and that is Captain Roll, number 5. He is another freshman for the Eau Gallie Commodores who just high-pointed the ball like that.
You said
Terry,
his name
my
is,
goodness.
His name is Captain Roll?
Captain Roll.
Well, I tell you what, a captain and a Commodore, they're all nautical terms. And he went underway and got that. I'm going to tell you right.
My goodness.
That is probably the best catch I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
On all levels. And I had the opportunity to cover many sporting events. But that young man displayed something beautiful.
And the 2-point conversion run right up the middle is good for Donovan Richardson. So with 8:07, not even 4 minutes into this game, Terry, we have a 16-0 ball game. Eau Gallie coming out, and they're putting the pain that they suffered a week ago in that loss to Vero Beach, and they're just giving it to Rockledge right now.
I tell you what, I'm still kind of speechless on that catch with Captain. Captain, he just got promoted to Admiral. I have to give him the Admiral. He is an Admiral now, so his name is no longer Captain. His name is Admiral Roll, and he's rolling.
Admiral Roll, that was a beautiful catch, and if you're Brody Grantland, you don't even have to throw it on the numbers. Just throw it in the area, and Roll's going to climb the ladder and go get it. So a throw in the corner of the end zone, and freshman Captain Roll climbs the ladder and grabs that ball, and it was nearly on the defender's back, and he reaches over and grabs it. That was a Sports Center top 10 play if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, we definitely have to get that on Sports Center. And quite honestly, you said something that was very interesting. This young man is a freshman. Unbelievable.
So Rockledge will have another shot now. And there's a couple players trying to get that tackle. That was number 0, Michael Gonzalez Jr., that was able to get in there for a decent gain. But it's going to be the Raiders taking over now with 8 minutes left in the first quarter. And Terry's beside me. I think there's Anson all over the place. Are they trying to bite you?
They're trying to invade the place.
So the Raiders will set up once again here. It's going to be Watkins, and he's just going to throw it up there. And that was nearly caught. That was Elijah Mitchell, who went to try to high point the ball and was unable to bring that one down.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised they didn't call pass interference on that. The defender grabbed a lot of his jersey, so much that we saw what brand of pads that he was wearing, because he took his entire jersey off, and they did not call that pass interference.
A lot of contact there, but no foul, no penalty called. So 2nd down and 10. It's going to be trips at the top of your screen for the Raiders. Joseph Watkins is in the shotgun. He's going to take the snap and keep it. And Watkins has room to run down that sideline, and he's going to scamper for a first down, but there is a flag.
Yeah, there's a flag. But you know what? I like the way that even though Rockledge is down 16-0, they're not looking startled. And a lot of teams will get startled. But quite honestly, they're running their plays, and they're doing what they're executing, and they're getting these first downs, barring this flag on the play.
It's going to be a hold on the offense, so that one's going to come back. And you made a good point there, Terry, is when you're down like this, it's still the first quarter, and you have to remember that. Just stay the course, play your game, and don't forget that you have talent too. You can still compete and still have a chance in this game. So there's still a lot of game left for the Rockledge Raiders.
What you don't want is a running clock in the second half.
Not at all. Watkins will take the snap, and he throws a little tunnel screen. That was number 0, Michael Gonzalez Jr. on the reception.
And I like how they're not trying to go for the big play right now. You know, you get a couple yards here and there to get your quarterback comfortable in the pocket. And you know, and then you can set yourself up for the big play later, because Eau Gallie may fall asleep. And if they do, that's when you beat them. They got playmakers on this team as well, and they know it.
Well, with them being down, I feel like they kind of think that they need to throw the ball, but you got to establish the run game first, and then once you run, it opens up the pass. So about a 3rd and 15. Let's see what the Raiders have cooking here. It's going to be Watkins, and he's going to go deep, and he's got a man. And it's caught. That's Elijah Mitchell. He's got room to run. He cuts back, and Elijah Mitchell is going to score. And what did I tell you, Terry? We have a freshman phenom competition on our hands tonight.
So you're saying there's a chance. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When you mentioned to me about the freshman phenom between both teams, because both teams have some great freshmen, they're outdoing all the other classes. The freshmen have something to say, and they're saying it tonight. And look at it. I have to be honest with you. Remember when I told you before that Rockledge can't get complacent, but they cannot just try to – when they go for the big play, they can catch Eau Gallie sleeping. They caught Eau Gallie sleeping that day.
Well, that was Elijah Mitchell, freshman for the Rockledge Raiders there on the 75-yard touchdown pass from Joseph Watkins. And if you're Rockledge, that's exactly how you want to answer back. The extra point is going to be good, so we have a 16-7 ball game with 6:24 left here in the first quarter. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here from Commodore Stadium, home of the Eau Gallie Commodores. We already saw what Xavier Corbin can do. He took about a 55-yard pitch to the house and reverse field and just speed kills and just took it to the house. But now we just saw some more speed kill, and now it's freshman against freshman, it feels like, as Xavier Corbin, freshman phenom, did his part. And on the flip side, Elijah Mitchell is the freshman phenom for the Raiders. We already highlighted these two ahead of the game as their family members played with each other. We saw Jayshon Corbin and Jalen Mitchell, members of the 2017 and 2018 Rockledge Raiders, and now both of their family, younger family, doing work.
Yeah, and that goes to show you, we talk about the pedigree and the bloodline. These young men, they're out here laying it all out on the line, and now they have people cheering their names, and rightfully so, because they're heck of football players, and they're only freshmen.
So the kickoff is picked up by Corbin. He tries to reverse field, and it did not work the way he thought it would. As the touchdown, he reversed field, and it worked, but this time it didn't. He gets wrapped up by multiple Raiders and is down, I think that's before the 20-yard line. Yeah, they're gonna mark him down about the 15-yard line. That's not great field position if you are the Commodores.
But you know what? One of the things that I did like that Rockledge did, they didn't try to one-up Eau Gallie and go for two. They went and they stuck to their plays. They stuck to what they know, and they trust their field goal kicker, and they went out and got that extra point. So they did not try to go for two. So that's a good thing, good coaching on their behalf, because they didn't need to go for two. Your offense just went out there and made a heck of a play, so reward your special teams and have your kicker kick that field goal.
They're staying par to the course, and that's what you should do. We are right in the middle of the first quarter, 6:15 left here, and we have a water break as they have implemented that. And I think that's a great thing, Terry, because with this Florida heat that we have, I mean, we're even hot up here, Terry.
Yeah, speaking of water breaks, yesterday I had an opportunity to watch Boise State play USF.
Wow.
Boise State was ranked number 25.
Wow.
And no one gave USF a chance. But when you're coming down to the humidity from up in those mountains, they were gasping for air, which I saw on the field. And Florida was already used to it because this is what they're accustomed to playing in. So water breaks, like you mentioned before, are very important. No matter where you're from, but in particular, when you're young and you're on this field and you think you're invincible, you still need to hydrate.
That is very, very true. So Eau Gallie and company will take over once again. It's going to be Brody Grantlin in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He's going to roll out, and he needs to get rid of it, and he does not. He is sacked, and that's going to place him right about the 3-yard line. So that was borderline safety territory for Eau Gallie. And if you're Brody Grantland and you see the guys coming after you, just sling that thing out of bounds.
Yeah, and we talked about it before. He's not accustomed to playing, right? But you definitely have to throw that ball out of there. And speed kills because Rockledge has a lot of speed on their defense, and you're going to have to take note of that because they're going to try to they know that they're without their top quarterback. So they're going to do everything they can to make it difficult for the backup.
They definitely will. So now you're looking at about 2nd and 20. It's going to be Xavier Larice in the shotgun with the up snap. He's got a hole, and he's going to take it for about 5-6 yards. So that's going to set up a 3rd and very long. And I think if you're Eau Gallie right here, especially in your own territory, protect the ball.
Yeah, you have to. You don't get too cute. You know, you're probably just going to have to just live and fight another day because Rockledge smells blood.
Yep. So it is Larice once again in the Wildcat by himself. It's going to be a little pitch to TJ Monroe, and he's not going to have any room to run. So that's going to set up a 4th down. And if you're Rockledge, who just went down 16-0, you can't ask for a better momentum switch. And what was your little quote a week ago about momentum?
I'll get back to you on that one. I trademarked it already, so I don't want you to take it.
I think it went a little something like, you don't know where the momentum's going to come from, but you can tell which sideline it's on.
What sideline standing on?
And right now it's with the Rockledge Raiders as they just got a 3 and out. 16-7 game, 3:51 left here in the first quarter. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. We had about an hour and 15-minute weather delay that made us stop the broadcast and restart, but we are here and live from Commodore Stadium, and we are not going to miss any of the action as we have the Raiders and the Commodores. So that one's booted up, and it went straight up. It is going to take a big Commodore bounce, and it's going to be down about the 46-yard line. So pretty good field position for the Raiders as they take over on offense, and they have a chance now, Terry, to score a touchdown potentially and make this a very, very, very interesting game again.
Well, it's already interesting. You know, it didn't take them that long to score, and they like I said, they smell blood, so they're probably going to run it once or twice here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go long. And I mentioned to you before, the middle is constantly open, so the coach is going to have to definitely recognize that.
It's going to be a little sweep handoff, and it's going to be about 2 yards picked up. That was number 0, Michael Gonzalez Jr. on the carry. So it looked like we had a penalty there by the Raiders, and they're going to be marching back a little bit. It's going to set up 1st and 15 for the Rockledge Raiders.
And you know what? You got to shout out the cheerleaders and the band. They are rocking right now. They got the entire stands feeling really good right now.
The cheerleaders and band are doing their thing tonight. So Joseph Watkins in the shotgun. There's going to be a handoff. Number 21 for the Raiders. That is Camden Allen. It bounced off the first tackler but was unable to get anywhere after that. And this is what I mentioned, Terry. You do want to try the run game. You want to see if you can establish something. But if you can't, I guess just throw it to Elijah Mitchell and let him take it to the house.
Well, that's definitely a great option to have, right? But you're right. You definitely have to run the ball a little bit. But it seems like Eau Gallie's stacking these men in the box, and they're kind of daring them to throw the ball. But that was a good group tackling by Eau Gallie. It's like everybody tackled. I seen some people in the stands that came out and tackled them as well.
So we're going to have a 2nd down and 12. Watkins takes the snap. He's going to throw it outside. And a really good form tackle there. That is going to be number 8 for the Eau Gallie Commodores. That's Ramir Davis on the tackle. And that's a textbook tackle right there, too.
Yeah. And Ramir said, I don't need any help with this one. I got it. And exactly, it showed. What a great tackle. Good tackle by this young man. I'm very impressed by the tackling right now.
That is as best of form tackling as you can get. So with right under 2:10 left in the first quarter. Oh, it looks like they got the defensive player. That is number 44. That is Jason Melidor.
He's a senior, too. You got to know better than that, senior.
Yep.
But good snap count. I mean, it was a good job by the quarterback. And honestly, you get an extra free 5 yards.
Yeah, so instead of having 3rd and long, it's now going to be 3rd and medium for the Rockledge Raiders as they have 3rd and about 6 here from midfield. But that is a free 5 yards that Rockledge is not going to complain about.
Now, that could probably change a little bit in their playbook. I wouldn't be surprised to see the running back get a little action right here.
It was supposed to be an option play, and the Eau Gallie Commodores were all over that. Big number 75, Marquise Oliveira, and they're right in the middle of it. It kind of looked like a little bit of confusion there, Terry. It looked like Joseph Watkins wanted to take that outside and go with kind of an outside speed option.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit unsure of what it was supposed to be, but they didn't have much room to run anyway.
They definitely had no room at all. And shout out, it's watching film, so shout out to the defense because you could tell that it was almost like they knew the play before it even happened. So good job on them.
So the Raiders will punt it away, and it's a bad snap. Somehow he got that one off. But it took a decent bounce and will put the Commodores, about their own 20-yard line. If you're Rockledge, you're kind of at least a little bit happy with that because if the Commodores have some decent field position, you can just mark it up to an Xavier Larice or an Xavier Corbin touchdown.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're going to see real soon because they said, okay, yeah, you've had an opportunity to come out and score and you didn't. We're going to show you how it's done.
So we're ticking down close to the end of the first quarter here, about 42 seconds left here in the first quarter of this one. Thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia from the Commodore Stadium. We have a couple score updates around the county. Many people asking what's going on with Cocoa and Mainland. Well, Mainland has jumped out to a 13-0 lead over the Cocoa Tigers. We saw last week Cocoa did not play. Really, they didn't play down to Merritt Island as more as they just did not play consistent football throughout 4 quarters. So Merritt Island showed that they can hang around, and Cocoa may not have played as consistently ball as they would like. And now Mainland taking advantage of that as they're up 13-0. But right here from Commodore Stadium, we have the Eau Gallie Commodores leading 16-7 as we are heading to the second quarter. So once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia, we will be right back with you in just a moment.
Get your business launched with Space Coast Daily through spacecoastdaily.com, Space Coast Daily's social media, in print with Space Coast Daily newspaper and the magazine, as well as email blasts and the mobile app And also at Space Coast Daily events, you can reach new customers every day. Get launched with Space Coast Daily and take your business to new heights. Call 321-323-4460 today.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here at Commodore Stadium, home of Eau Gallie. We have the Eau Gallie Commodores and the Rockledge Raiders. Great game tonight. If you are wondering why is just the first quarter ending now at 8:48, well, we had about an hour and 15-minute weather delay, some rain, a little bit of thunder, lightning. That took us about an hour and 15 to start this one, but nonetheless, we have two teams that are excited to be on the field right now, and we have a great one on our hands.
Yeah, we had thunder, lightning, but don't forget that rainbow that we had.
Oh, yeah, beautiful rainbow. And that's going to be Corbin on the outside. He's got some room to run, and he's going to take it for a first down. That was about a gain of 10 yards and a nice first down.
Yeah, it was a nice run, but I like to see him kind of protect that ball a little bit more. He's holding it like a little bread basket, so somebody can, if they're smart, they can get that peanut punch and knock the ball out. So he's going to have to be mindful of how he's carrying this ball.
First quarter had a lot of action as we saw Eau Gallie quickly score. It was Xavier Corbin scoring within the first 2.5 minutes of this game on about a 55-yard rushing touchdown. He took the pitch, reversed field, and took it down the left sideline all the way to the house. And then the first offensive snap for Rockledge was a bad snap recovered by Eau Gallie. And the next play, we saw now not Captain Roll, Admiral Roll catch a Sports Center top 10.
He's been promoted.
Captain Roll, the pass from Brody Grantland into the corner of the end zone. And Terry, if you're talking about mossing someone, that's probably the definition of it right there, what we saw.
Yeah, and we talked about it before. That is a TPN. That catch has to go on Sports Center, and we're going to try to make sure that happens.
That was a big-time play right there as Brody Grantland was able to find Captain Roll in the end zone to make this one 16-7. But then the Rockledge Raiders were able to answer right back. It was Elijah Mitchell who caught a pass from his quarterback, Watkins, 75-yard touchdown, answering back quick. So Grantland takes the snap, and he's going to throw it outside. And it's going to be a nice catch right there, but there's a flag. I think that one's coming back, Terry.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the things that I've noticed about the quarterback for Eau Gallie is he's like a sidearm sling type thing, you know, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a very interesting form. So, but there was an illegal man downfield, so that's definitely coming back.
That one will be coming back as Eau Gallie is now going to be looking at 2nd and 8. 10:23 left here in the second quarter. Grantland's looked a lot more poised than he did a week ago when we saw him step in for Joseph Allen, and I think that's part of taking reps with the Unit 1 team and as well as just playing on your home field.
Yeah, it definitely is.
That's a deep ball, and that one nearly caught, but it was incomplete. Intended receiver was Captain Roll right there.
Yeah, I think Captain Roll jumped just a little too early. If he would have timed it a little bit right, he would have had. It wouldn't have been a touchdown, but it would have been a great catch. But he jumped just a tad bit early.
That was number 6, Damon Scott, or DJ Scott, they call him for the Raiders. That was on the coverage. Number 1 high jumper in the nation, committed to Terry, your Florida State Seminoles.
I'm not mad at it at all. You know, great choice, young man.
3rd and 8 for the Commodores. Grantland is still in the shotgun, and he's running out of room. He tries to get it out, and he does. So the opportunity to make a first down, not really there, but he got the ball out of his hands. They're going to say that he was actually down before that ball came out.
Yeah, but a good job of being aware, and that's one of the benefits of being a left-handed quarterback, honestly. Even though he didn't, he was down before he threw the ball, but that you do have an advantage as a left-hander.
You do.
And I am a lefty, so I definitely know.
So it's going to be 4th down and 8, and the Commodores are going to be punting here. The Raiders, I feel like they kind of smell blood a little bit. They were able to seize the momentum of the Commodores, and now they're seeing if they can get something going and bring the momentum right back on their side. So a pretty good punt there by Xavier Larice.
Yeah, what doesn't he do? Like he catches, he runs, he QBs. He does everything, and he's a Mr. Do-It-All, Swiss Army knife, right?
At this point, he is the jack of all trades for the Commodores. We've seen him take the snap at quarterback. We've seen him catch passes, seen him punt, kick, play defense. So he is a Mr. Do-It-All for these Commodores.
We're probably going to have him come up here and broadcast with us, too, since he's able to do that also.
Yeah, he'll probably he'll take over in the second half. As long as they have the lead and they don't need him, he'll be up here in the booth with us.
Yeah, and we want to thank everybody for watching. We have quite a few people that are on tonight and to watch these young men lay it all out on the field here. So thank you all for watching.
The Raiders take back the offense. It's going to be a run right up the middle. Not much room to run there.
But if you're the Raiders, you can live with that right now. I mean, even though you didn't get many yards, that's about 1 or 2 yards that you got off that play, then you'll be able to hit them with the long run. And I could see that happening. But one thing that I noticed is that Eau Gallie has backed up a little bit.
If you are the Raiders, positive movement is kind of what you want right now. As long as you're not being pushed back by penalties or negative plays, Terry.
Yeah.
You want to just be going positive.
I'll tell you right now, the post route right here would be an absolute winner if they can identify it.
So the rollout by Watkins, he's going to go deep. And he's got Matt Ford, and it is caught. And that is another one of the freshman phenoms that we mentioned before this game, Matthew Ford. He's a freshman, Terry, but he stands at 6'2", 6'3", and he's got long arms.
Unbelievable. These freshmen are showing out tonight. It was a 50-50 ball. Pretty much the thrower said, hey, you know what? I believe in my player more than I believe in your defense, and that's what happened.
They called a pass interference on it, but no need to accept the penalty when your guy just catches about a 50-yard pass downfield.
Yeah, these guys are laying it all out on the line here, and all these great runs and catches, they're all from freshmen.
It's impressive. It really is. We're seeing these players able to play up to a level that not a lot of people can. So the Raiders are now at the 40-yard line. There's going to be a little tunnel screen. That's Eli Mitchell. Not really much room to run, but he's able to get about a yard there, and that's kind of what we said, Terry, is staying on course, staying up to par with what you can do. You don't want to go backwards, but as long as you can get something positive and going forward is kind of what the doctor ordered for the Rockledge Raiders.
Yeah, most definitely, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Rockledge try to go back down and do another one of those 50-50 balls because apparently their wide receivers are catching everything.
So 2nd down and about 9 with just under 8 minutes left here in the second quarter. It's going to be Watkins taking the snap. He's going to roll out. He's going to go deep once again.
That's a lot of coverage.
And that was thrown into triple coverage and picked off. And running down the sideline, that is number 13 for the Eau Gallie Commodores, Kiani Guajardo. And Terry, that wasn't a good idea from the start.
That was a horrible pass. I know it looked like they're accustomed to throwing on the left-hand side, but that was definitely not a good throwing ball. He should have just ran the ball and lived to fight another day.
Yeah, you had momentum there. They had a really good drive going, but now you seize all that momentum with an interception, and frankly, that ball was thrown into triple coverage. I think if you're Coach John Holmes, you're probably going to talk to your quarterback and say, hey, if you don't have something, just run it. You got some wheels, run it, get 6-7 yards, and live to play another down.
You have to. You definitely have to, because now you've kind of, deflated your momentum that you had going on, but hopefully you don't get beat deep here on defense.
So Grantland in the shotgun. It's going to be a little quick slant. That one is caught. That was number 3 for the Eau Gallie Commodores, Lucas Viselli. So now the Commodores have about a 2nd and 5. About 7 minutes left here in the second quarter. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. I know we have quite a few viewers right now, probably from all over the county, and who knows, maybe international, Terry?
Most definitely. I wouldn't be surprised. We've definitely had a good followership of a lot of folks that's watching these high school football games.
Grantland's going to – wow. That was a very, very surprising pass right there. So Brody Grantland was able to elude the pressure initially, but he had Corbin open and was not able to hit him. It looked like the throw was a little bit fast. That was a fastball, and he just needed to hit him on the numbers.
Well, no, that was actually a catchable pass. And the wide receiver, he's definitely disappointed in himself because he said, man, it hit my hands, and it looked like it just went right through it. So the quarterback obviously could have threw it a little bit better, but that was a catchable ball.
I know the Commodores are not going to be too thrilled with the opportunity to pick up a first down and not complete it. But they're going to take the snap here. It's 2nd and 8. Grantland is in the shotgun. It's going to be, and he's going to be sacked. It looked like he was able to get out of there for a second, but then a swarm of Raiders came over and finally sacked Grantland.
We would like to thank Joseph Baldwin for watching. He's watching from Boston, Mass.
Go Red Sox.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that, but hey, I got some family that lives in Saugus, Massachusetts, so it's not too far from Boston. So thanks, Joseph, for watching. If you haven't been out to Boston, Boston is a really, really nice area, but only in the spring and the summertime. If you go there in the wintertime, you can hang it up. I speak a lot on board the USS Constitution, which is actually in the Boston area. So great, beautiful area. Little Italy down there has some great food.
There's going to be a screen that goes out wide, and it's going to be incomplete. Third down. I think that was kind of a smart play call, Terry, because you don't want to put your quarterback in a position where he might turn over the ball, especially giving Rockledge Raiders plus field. But nothing going there. It kind of seems like the Raiders know what Eau Gallie is trying to cook up, and they're slowing it down a little bit.
Well, great job, first off, with the Raiders for not, having their heads held down because of that turnover. But when you have a backup quarterback, they know that. And so they know they're limited on some of the things that they can and cannot do. So good job on the defense.
So the punt by Larice is going to be fielded and caught. Elijah Mitchell kind of slipped there, lost his balance, but that's going to set up the Raiders with really good field position as they take over on plus side of the 45-yard line. And now is the main question is can Watkins bounce back from that interception? I mentioned it earlier. I think Coach Holmes is telling his guy, like, look, when you see 3-4 guys in the vicinity of who you want to throw to, just tuck it and run.
That means you got an advantage. That means that somebody's not covering you, right?
Yep.
So just take the ball and live and fight to another down. So he's aware of that, and I'm quite sure that Coach has been in his ear, like you mentioned before. But, look, you don't have to get 40, 50 yards every play. You go out there and get you 10 yards, 5 yards. Those things add up on the field, and before you know it, you're on the goal line trying to score a touchdown.
That is correct. We have 5:35 left here in the second quarter. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia from Commodore Stadium.
It's the Zane Spain Show.
The Zane Spain Show. I like that one. I like that. Going to be Watkins in the shotgun. Bunch formation at the bottom of your screen. And they're trying to set that one-on-one up on the corner. You can tell this might go on. They got him to jump once again.
Yeah. Hey, watch the ball. That's all you have to do. Watch the ball.
That was number 77 for the Commodores, Hazira Payne, that jumped. And for another update, we have a shocker. 19-0 Mainland leading Cocoa. Cocoa with a thrilling overtime win over Merritt Island a week ago. But, ooh, the ball popped out on that one, and it's still free. And it looked like multiple players had it, and it just bounced all over the place. I think it's going to go back to Rockledge.
Yeah, and there's a flag on the field as well. So I saw the referees throw out a flag. And getting back to getting back to Cocoa Mainland game. I broadcast that game last year in Mainland when Cocoa had their way with them. And this goes to show you how much these teams don't forget, and so that level of talent that was on Coco's team last year was definitely on display. And so now you're seeing that some teams have gotten better, as we mentioned before. And apparently Mainland has gotten better because they're up 19-0 against Cocoa, defending state champion.
Oh, yeah. So the handoff right there was by Eli Mitchell. It looked initially like he was able to get about 9-10 yards, but then a pop by the Eau Gallie defense. The ball goes flying up into the air. Eau Gallie grabs it. Rockledge grabs it. Eau Gallie grabs it, and then Rockledge ends up with it. And I think that's one thing when you're a coach, Terry, they teach you don't have to pick the ball up.
Yeah.
Just fall on the ball.
Just fall on it. But, some people have gotten accustomed to trying to pick it up and make a play. But you are making a play when you fall on the ball.
So that penalty right there is going to move Rockledge 15 yards, and they're going to go right up into the Mike Erdman Automotive red zone. If you're Rockledge, you have a prime opportunity here to score a touchdown, as we're not at halftime yet, but with 5.5 minutes left, you'd like to get another score here before halftime approaches.
Yeah, that red zone just turned into the danger zone.
It did.
Every blade of grass is under surveillance now, Zane.
So there's going to be a run right up the middle, and it's going to go nowhere. That was number 2, Raheem Cutter, that took the carry for the Raiders. No room to run. A swarm of Commodores was able to bring him down. It's actually going to be a loss of 1 on that play. So we're going to have 2nd down and 11 for the Rockledge Raiders as we creep under 5 minutes left in this second quarter. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily.
Yeah, Zane, and like we talked about before, when you're inside the 20, the field shrinks, but the pressure multiplies.
I don't know where you're pulling these out of, Terry, but you are coming up with some great quotes, and that is a bad snap as Watkins picks it up and he just throws it to the sideline. That's going to be intentional grounding.
Just as I mentioned before, Zane, the field shrinks, but the pressure multiplies.
So the refs are going to converse right here, but I believe that's an intentional grounding. I don't think he was outside the tackles, Terry, and you got to throw it past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but he had to do something, and that was the next best thing, you know.
It actually was. So they're going to call intentional grounding. Intentional grounding goes into effect where the ball was thrown. So that's going to really be a loss of about 20, and you lose the down. So we're talking about 3rd and US 1 right here for the Rockledge Raiders. It's about as far as back to where Rockledge High is.
It's about 3rd and Fort Pierce. Yeah.
So a shocker on the other side of the county as Mainland is leading Cocoa 19-0. But we have a great game on our hands ourselves right here. If you want to look for any other scores, Melbourne and Merritt Island still going on over at Merritt Island. Do we have a score check on that one, Terry?
We're still definitely checking into it to see what the scores are for those local games.
But right now, right here, we have the Eau Gallie Commodores and the Rockledge Raiders. It looks like the Raiders are trying to set the offense up. Quarterback Joseph Watkins is in the shotgun. 3rd and about 25. And he's going to go down the middle. He's got a man, and there's room to run. And number 0, Mike Gonzalez, is going to pick up the first down. My goodness. On 3rd and 25, they pick up 29 and a first down. And, Terry, you mentioned before the middle has been wide open, and it was wide open there.
I've been saying it the entire game, and apparently they must have heard me up here. But when you need a big play,
wow,
your playmakers definitely come through. But it looked like there was a flag on the field.
Yeah, they're going to say a false start on Rockledge, and that one's going to bring them back another 5 yards. So you said 3rd and Fort Pierce. Now it's about 3rd and Miami.
West Palm.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that definitely hurt, because when you was able to pick up that first down when no one thought you was. So you go back down there and you try to do the exact same thing again.
If you have the guy open right in the middle, whether you get the first down or not, you take the yards that you can because really they're not in field goal range right now. But if you get about 15 yards, you'll be in field goal range. So Watkins takes the snap. He's patrolling. He's going to run it. He's got some room to run. And he's going to pick up about 10. And there is another flag on the play.
This might be on the defense here, Zane.
I think that was a late hit out of bounds, but we're going to see what referee says. It looked like a pretty bang-bang play. Could have gone either way. Personal foul against the offense. Rockledge is not going. Yeah, the Rockledge is not going to move back for 3rd and 50. They're gonna just decline the penalty. Eau Gallie will decline it and make it 4th, and it's still about 4th and 25.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So they'll be lining up to punt. And really, this isn't the area that you want to be punting from. You're at the 34-yard line. So what might be interesting right here is you try to coffin corner it, Terry?
Yeah, if you could do that, I wouldn't be surprised to see a fake too.
And they do try to coffin corner it, and it was not a bad punt. That is going to put them at about the 15-yard line, I believe. Yeah, they'll be starting at the 15-yard line. Eau Gallie will take over with 3:35 left in this second quarter. So a 16-7 ball game. I would say that there's been some surprises in this game, but there has not been surprises to me. Xavier Corbin, as advertised, a touchdown. Elijah Mitchell, as advertised, a touchdown. Matthew Ford, as advertised, a huge completion. And then the one that kind of surprised me, I guess, is the captain role, but 4 humongous plays, all by freshmen.
Yeah, they're definitely you can't can't get any better than that. But the only thing that really surprised me is the amount of penalties that we have. And it's deflated everything that Rockledge was trying to do. It deflated their momentum. It deflated their spirit. It deflated everything. So hopefully they can bounce back on defense.
So that's going to be a run outside, and it's going to be Xavier Corbin again. He's got room to run, and Corbin is going to scamper for about 25.
One thing I noticed about Xavier Corbin is he runs high, almost like a Roger Craig type run.
He does run high.
Yeah, so that's definitely you don't see that type of running style often. So it's good to see that he's running and he's making a difference. And he's a what?
Freshman.
A freshman.
Freshman phenom, as they would say. So a gain of 21 there will move them up to the 36-yard line. 3:20 left in this second quarter. Enough time for them to score before halftime. Brody Grantland is in the shotgun. It looks like we're going to get a little timeout right there, or a sideline warning. Yeah, we have a sideline warning on Eau Gallie. Snap was low, but there's going to be a little throw outside. It was high. And honestly, if you're Grantland, I think that's kind of the best case scenario, because you just watched Watkins throw it into triple coverage and get it picked off. And that's not what you want to do yourself.
Yeah.
So second down and about 10. 3 minutes left here in the second quarter. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here from Commodore Stadium. 16-7 ball game. Grantland will take the snap in the shotgun. It's going to be a handoff right up the middle to Corbin. And they're going to hit him hard. He's going to be twisted down. That's about a gain of 3. About a 3-yard gain there. Actually, they're going to give him a little bit more than I thought. They're going to give him about 4.5, 5 yards right there. So we're going to have about a 3rd and medium for the Commodores.
Yeah, and they're going to put it in the hands of their playmakers. You have to, especially if you want to get this first down.
Grantland is in the shotgun once again. Corbin and Gonzalez is in the backfield with him. Corbin will roll out. Grantland is rolling. He's not sure what to do with it, and he's going to get stick out of bounds. My goodness. What a shot he took. That was number 24 for the Rockledge Raiders. That was Marcel Evans.
Yeah, and if you're the quarterback, you got to play a little bit smarter, because you got to realize you are the second-string quarterback. That means that they're depending on you a lot, especially for the season. And for you to take a hit like that, ouch.
Yeah, at that point, I would prefer you just to run out of bounds.
Yeah.
Protect yourself than staying in there. I mean, it shows some toughness, but why take the unnecessary hit? And there's going to be a punt, another punt. Xavier Larice will boot it away. This one is going to bounce to about the 25, so it'll be Rockledge Raiders ball, and they will have 75 yards to go to score. 1:12 left here in the first quarter. I don't know if I would assume Eau Gallie was favored in this game, but I'm not sure by how much. But I kind of felt like this was going to be an exciting, closer ball game, especially with Rockledge losing last week and wanting to avenge that loss. Eau Gallie wants to avenge their loss too, but they have their backup quarterback, so you know that offense is not going to be as fluid.
Yeah, and I have to be honest with you. Both teams look a little tired right now. So they've been doing a lot of running up and down this field. So
probably ready to go to halftime.
Yeah, definitely ready. But I think Rockledge is going to try to put some more points on the board right here.
Watkins is going to go deep. He's got 2 guys. He went for Elijah Mitchell, and he threw that into double coverage.
Yeah, and he telegraphed that pass the entire way. And I know Trey Hill, he's like kicking himself right now because he could have had an easy interception.
Yeah, that was probably about best a chance that you're going to get to pick off a pass. But Rockledge will live to see another down with 1:05 left here. And if you're Joseph Watkins, you don't need to force it. You know, you're only down 9. I wouldn't be forcing anything right now. And just like that, just run. Get room, get some yards, and get downfield.
You got to probably have to call a timeout here.
Yeah, they're not going to call a timeout. They're going to go with a little bit of hurry up.
Yeah, he got out of bounds. Well, the clock is still going, but I would have called a timeout here. And
I would have too. So he did get the first down. They're going to go with the hurry up. We're now down to 45 seconds left. Watkins will take the snap, and we're going to see a false start. When you try to run the hurry up, Terry, sometimes that happens.
And this is why I told you I would have took that timeout so that you can settle everybody down and say, hey, we gotten positive yards on this drive. Let's continue to do it. But now you're getting 5 yards negative. So you got to march back, and you're deflating this team's momentum even more.
So Rockledge will now have 1st and 15 from about the 33-yard line. Still plenty of room to go. There was a 10-second runoff on that penalty.
Looks like it'll be offsides on the defense. Yeah.
I
get
believe
those 5
so.
yards back, Zane.
Yeah, I think they did just get the 5 yards back. But now, with 30 seconds left, anything after this play right here, you have to call a timeout.
You have to. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. The middle is going to be open, even though they're playing at too deep safety. But you could just drop it right there in the middle and let your playmakers get those yards after the catch.
Rockledge will be right back where they started. 1st and 10 from the 38. Watkins takes the snap, and he's got pressure on the outside, and the pass is going to be incomplete as it was intended for number 9. That is Braden Teeter.
Yeah, he was definitely open, but the ball could have been thrown a little bit better than that.
So with 24 seconds left in the half, if you're Rockledge, just protect the ball. I mean, you don't want to give Eau Gallie an opportunity to put up any more points before the half. If you can, put up points, but if not, just run out the ball. Watkins is going to go deep, and that is going to be picked off. And just what I said, don't give them an opportunity to put up any points. So with 7 seconds left now, that is number 13, Guardo, with the interception, and he returned that about 60 yards. So now you almost have a chance to take a shot at the end zone.
I'll tell you what, Keani was moving, and he tried to score. He did everything he could, and his blockers was trying to help him out as well. But
Corbin did not score both touchdowns for Eau Gallie. We just saw the comment from Brian Fisher. The first touchdown was Xavier Corbin. The second touchdown was other freshman Captain Roll.
Now who we promoted to the Admiral.
We did promote him to Admiral. So if you are just now tuning in, our first touchdown of the game came from Xavier Corbin. We saw a bad snap that turned into a fumble. Eau Gallie recovered that at the 6-yard line, and then really that wasn't even a fade to Captain Roll. That was just a throw it up there and you go get it.
Yeah.
And Captain Roll snatched it out of the air for a touchdown. They've gone for the 2 both times and gotten both 2-point conversions. And our third touchdown, which was Rockledge's side, was a 75-yard touchdown pass from Watkins to Elijah Mitchell. And it looks like, I believe that was a block in the back that we might have had.
It was a holding, but and so it looks like I'm confused.
Eau Gallie will move back. 5 seconds left in the half. At this point, I would say take a knee and just go into half with the 9-point lead, but it seems as if they're going to maybe throw a little bit of a Hail Mary. And it's going to go deep, and that one is, wow, I'm surprised they didn't call pass interference.
Well, it was in triple coverage too, so.
It was. And on the last play, now the Raiders have a man down. I believe that was number 4, Elijah Floyd, who's one of your top players. That's not what you would want to see if you are the Raiders. He's able to get up.
I think he was just a little disappointed.
Wanted that interception. But we have a halftime score now of 16-7. Terry, thoughts of the first half?
Well, it was excitement. It had, firecrackers and everything else when it first started. But I think both of these teams kind of, filled each other out, which is the reason the score is only 16-7. Definitely you could tell that they have a young quarterback in Rockledge, but then you can also tell that they have an inexperienced quarterback with Eau Gallie. So you're going to lean heavily on your playmakers, i.e. most of them your freshmen on both teams, although you do have some other players that are contributing as well. But your freshmen have shown up, and I'm excited. I can't wait for the second half because these young men are laying it all out on the line today like we talked about before, and they are definitely giving the fans what they paid their money for.
This one truly is still anybody's game. We saw Eau Gallie jump out to a 16-0 lead within less than 4 minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah.
Rockledge answered back very fast as well, as it was number 5, Eli Mitchell, who caught a pass from Joseph Watkins for 75 yards and a touchdown. Big time play there for the Raiders to kind of seize the momentum that the Commodores were building. And from there on out, it looked like the Rockledge defense kind of settled in and was able to not necessarily find the answer to stop the Commodores, but didn't allow them to get the big play. And really in a game like this, that's what you can ask for, is don't allow a big play to happen. We already saw a couple early, but if you can slow them down, then you really have a chance to win. Either side does.
Yeah, definitely do.
So now we're about to see the halftime show. It looks like the Eau Gallie band will be taking the field here as we have the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Once again, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here at Eau Gallie. This is a great game that we have on our hands, 16-7. A quick little recap if you were not listening. The first touchdown of the game was scored by Xavier Corbin, freshman athlete for the Eau Gallie Commodores, on about a 55-yard run where he went misdirection and took it up the left side of the field and scored it. The second touchdown of the game was not even a fade. It was just a throw the ball in the air and let freshman wide receiver Captain Roll go and get it. And Terry and I mentioned earlier, that's got to be a Sports Center top 10 play with the miraculous catch that Roll had. Our third touchdown of the game was scored by Rockledge, which makes it a 16-7 game. It was a 75-yard pass and touchdown to Mr. Eli Mitchell. So once again, it is halftime here from Eau Gallie. The Eau Gallie band will be taking the field, and we will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the Raider Regiment. Tonight, they will be performing their Fall 2025 production, Motown Magic. Musical selections to include Get Ready by The Temptations, I'll Be There, I Want You Back, and ABC by the Jackson 5. Drum majors, Lorraine Allenson and Cristiano Gonzalez. Is your band ready? You may begin your performance. Stepping to the field, the Eau Gallie High School Marching Commodores. They will be presenting their 2025 program, Dragons in the Mist. They are under the direction of band directors Anthony Atkinson and Bailey Workman. Percussion director is Ethan Mercer. Color guard director, Leslie Kaler. Their principal is Keith Barton. Their band captain is Miles Kinnick. Drum majors are Eliza Montet and Ray Swanson. Drum majors, is your band ready? Eau Gallie High School, you may now begin your show.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here from Commodore Stadium, home of Eau Gallie. Electrifying first half. We saw plays by freshmen majority of the time, Terry. First touchdown was scored by Xavier Corbin, 55-yard touchdown off of a pitch play that he missed Durock and took it the other way. Second touchdown scored by freshman Captain Roll. Outstanding catch in the corner of the end zone. Third touchdown was by Elijah Mitchell of the Rockledge Raiders. So the freshmen are kind of taking over this game in a sense. But nonetheless, great first half by both squads. And the second half will be starting in just a moment. We'd like to thank our sponsors for this game, as always. Erdman Automotive, Auto Expo 95, Health First, All Points, and Eastern Florida State College. If you are here at the Eau Gallie game, or you want to come and show up in the second half to see a great thrilling game, as mentioned by the PA announcer, they have a full concession stand with hamburgers, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, pizza, chips, candy, soda, whatever you need. But then there's also a food truck, Dusty Joe's. Shout out Dusty Joe's. They got plenty of good food over there. You can get fries, mac and cheese, quesadillas. They have tacos. They have everything over there, which a week ago, Terry and myself were pretty blessed by Honey's Wings and Things. I'll shout them out every single week because of those wings. They gave me it was like a bourbon barbecue type of sauce, and they were outstanding.
Changed your life, didn't it?
My goodness. And then to top it off, they gave you the terrific fried pork chops. And I'll just have to tell you right there, when you go to a soul food place and you get fried pork chops, that's what you're talking about when you talk about fried pork chops.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed. And, he said to me earlier before I even tasted it, he was like, look, these pork chops are going to be better than your grandmother's pork chops. And I couldn't believe him, right? I said, okay, yeah, whatever, all right. But I have to admit, when I tasted the first bite, he was right. Sorry, Grandma.
So 16-7 here. Eau Gallie starting with backup quarterback Brody Grantland. I have to say he's managed the game as you would want your backup quarterback to manage a football game. You don't need him to make all the hero plays. You just need him to make the easy passes, make the right decisions, and protect the football, and that's what he's done so far, Terry.
Yeah, he definitely has protected the football, but he did some little risky plays here and there that actually kind of worked out in his favor. But, yeah, the coach is on the sideline telling him, you don't have to win the game. Just manage it. We're up right now, and so don't do anything crazy that's going to put us in a deficit.
Rockledge, on the other hand, with some costly mistakes. The first one was their first offensive snap of the game. It was snapped over the head of Joseph Watkins, recovered by Eau Gallie at the 6-yard line, and then just a corner of the end zone throw over to freshman Captain Roll, and he made the most of it. So we have some other score updates around the county. The Mainland Cocoa game, what a shocker. Terry, a year ago, you said that you called that game and it was all Cocoa. Well, how the matters can turn, Mainland dominating.
Yeah, and like we mentioned before, those teams don't forget. Mainland was down a few of their players as well, and they got embarrassed on their home field. And so Mainland said, okay, we'll play you in Cocoa, and we're going to return the favor this year, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, some familiar foes that we've seen. And it looks like we have, is that 7-0? It cannot still be the first quarter, so we're going to look and try to find a score update for Melbourne Merritt Island, which is being broadcasted on Space Coast Daily as well. That's kind of a prove-it game for Melbourne. They like to prove their worth and earn their respect, but some familiar foes that are going to be seeing both of these teams, they're Cocoa Tigers. We just mentioned them. They're down to Mainland. They're going to be seeing Vero Beach next week at Vero, which we just saw Vero Beach with an impressive performance against these Eau Gallie Commodores in week 1. Eau Gallie was able to fight back and make that one respectable at 41-31. But next week, it's going to be interesting. And Vero Beach actually just beat Bushholtz from Gainesville. That's not a pushover team either. Bushholtz always has a respectable squad out of Gainesville, 28-24. I'm assuming that might still be with backup quarterback, who's really a wide receiver, Ephraim White, who really showed out against these Eau Gallie Commodores. And as we know, speed kills.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So the second half starting here, it's going to be the Commodores kicking off to the Rockledge Raiders. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. This is the start of the second half. The boot is away, and it's going to be caught and dropped out of bounds. That is a massive mistake to start your first possession of the second half. So it looked like it was about to be returned by Mike Gonzalez of the Raiders. Terry, he just dropped it out of bounds.
Yeah, Mike was ready to run before he had the ball in his hand, and that's unfortunate because if he'd have kicked it out of bounds, you would have had better field position. But one of the things that I know that both coaches was talking about, he told these young men that halftime, both of them, halftime isn't just a break, it's a blueprint. So we got to see which team is going to be drawing up all the stuff that they have in store for them.
So Rockledge is now going to take over, and not very great field position. They're going to be starting this one from the 14-yard line. We saw Joseph Watkins make some mistakes in the first half, and let's see if he's learned from them. We're going to have some pre-snap laundry.
And you got to hate that as a coach. Coming out of halftime, you get a pre-snap penalty and a false start on the offense. That can't be what you drew up on at halftime.
That's really a demoralizing way to start a second half when you drop the ball out of bounds and then now there's a false start. So let's see if the Rockledge Raiders can regroup. It's going to be a snap and handoff. Carry up the middle, not going to go for much. I believe that was number 21 for the Raiders. That is Camden Allen, who was on the carry right there. And we've seen Allen a couple times carry the ball and be productive. And one of my main things that I said, Terry, was if you start the running game and get it going, the passing game will open up.
Yeah, and you definitely will, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them do a slant route here to kind of throw them. Quarterback's taking too much time out.
And that one nearly picked off. Actually, it was picked off. That was number 13, Keani Guardo. That would be his second pick of the game if it stands, but I think they're going to call pass interference.
Yeah, I think they are, and you know, no one's happy about that because that was a heck of a catch by that young man.
It was. So number 13, Keani Guardo, nearly came up with his second interception of the game. I'm kind of confused about what's happening right now.
Yeah, because if they're backing up, that means that should be an interception.
Rockledge is backing up, which would not make any sense. And now they're moving it forward. I think the referees are just trying to get their steps in right there.
Yeah, I mean, and the players as well. He's helping the players get their step in.
So now taking over at the 24-yard line, it was the Rockledge Raiders are going to start this possession.
Yeah, I can tell you right now the fans are not happy with that call. They're booing the refs and doing everything right now.
Yeah, not too happy about that. Raiders fans would take the pass interference all day. Conversely, Commodores fans are saying, how was that a pass interference? So you're going to see Joseph Watkins take the snap here out of the shotgun.
I tell you what, these refs are definitely they don't have anywhere to go tonight. They're taking this slow time.
Oh, yeah. So it's going to be a 1st down and 10. The snap and the handoff there's nowhere to go right there. And really, I think that was a miscommunication, Terry, because the man in motion looked like he was waiting to receive the ball while the quarterback is trying to run a read option with his running back, and it just did not pan out at all.
Yeah, and you know what, Eau Gallie, they said, you know what, we had enough of this. We've seen this before. We're going to show you how to stop it, but they're going to have to be a little cautious too, because they've gotten away with a little extracurricular activity after that play. I wouldn't be surprised to see the flag thrown the next time by the referee.
So the Commodores will have to reset here. This is going to be 2nd down and about 13. Watkins takes the snap, and he's already under pressure. He's going to run outside, and it's actually going to be completed. So really making something out of nothing right there to number 2, Raheem Cutter. It looked like he was bound to be sacked, and the completion will go for about 9 yards. You can't really hate that.
Yeah, you can't hate that at all. But quite honestly, I thought that he was going to get sacked too. But good job on the quarterback for just dumping that off and getting some positive yards from his playmaker.
Well, I'm a little bit confused as what the referees are doing. They're placing it all the way over here on this hash mark when the pass was not completed over here. It was completed on the opposite hash mark. So I'm a little bit confused about what just happened there. But it is 3rd and 4 for the Raiders. Watkins trying to draw them offside again. It's not going to work. He's already done it a couple of times tonight.
Yes.
Watkins will take the snap. It's going to be a slant pass, and it's going to be Elijah Mitchell once again. He's going to take that to the 10 and into the end zone. And if you're the Rockledge Raiders, that might just be the recipe, Terry. Get the ball to Eli Mitchell and get out of the way.
I've seen it all, Zane, from freshmen. You know, I'm speechless. I don't have – and that's the first. I don't have really nothing to say because, honestly, I didn't think he was going to catch that slant pass. And when he caught it, I thought he was going to get tackled there. But that goes to show you the upper body strength that this young man has as a freshman, as I keep harping on that. I am very impressed with how they're playing tonight.
Well, these freshmen have really showed out tonight. And I told you, Terry, ahead of this game, this was going to be a freshman showdown between Xavier Corbin and Eli Mitchell, and it sure has been already. So the extra point is going to be up and good. And now we have a 16-14 game,
Man.
and things are now getting interesting.
What did I tell you about that tide that's shifting? It shifts. It's shifting hard. I want to shout out Shayna. I guess that's her nephew that scored this touchdown. So she's all excited on the chats here. So that's good to see. Congratulations to that young man because he's definitely put a lot of work in.
Elijah Mitchell has really got his money worth tonight. And honestly, if you were allowed to bet on high school sports and you were going to bet on Elijah Mitchell to score a touchdown, you probably would be rich.
Yeah.
Because this young man has really proved himself tonight. I mean, we already knew he was showtime when he touches the ball, but older family, especially we mentioned his older uncle is Jalen Mitchell, who was a Rockledge great. You got to watch this and say, you know what? Just another one in the family of Mitchells that's doing it big.
Yeah, it's in that bloodline, and it's actually great to see because they're producing on the field. We've already seen a lot of members of his family produce on the field, but he's just that next one.
So now with 9:19 left in this third quarter, the Rockledge Raiders have made this into a 2-point game. It makes things really, really interesting. I'm really eager to see what the Commodores are going to do to answer back on this one. So the kickoff is going to go. It was going to be caught and taken upfield by Corbin. they're going to blow that whistle dead, as it looked like Eau Gallie only had 10 men on the field, and they went to throw a guy on the field just to throw him onto the field. They're going to blow that dead. I think that's going to be a penalty on Eau Gallie, which is going to move the kick up to – no, I'm sorry about that. Wrong call on my part. They're going to call that as an early start, technically a false start on the kickoff by the Rockledge Raiders. So now that'll move them back to the 35 to kick this one off. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. As mentioned earlier, Terry, this is a late birthday present for me.
Yeah.
As this is a nice treat, as my birthday was yesterday. I get a nice treat of seeing both the schools that I went to, Rockledge and Eau Gallie, playing each other. What a treat.
You got to make a decision.
You know, I'll never.
What school did you graduate from?
I graduated from, I graduated from Eau Gallie, but I grew up in Rockledge.
Okay.
And this is going to be Corbin. He's going to take it up the sideline. He's got room to run, and he's breaking out of tackles. He's going to get all the way up to about the 37-yard line. And you can see when he touches the ball, everybody kind of freezes for a moment, Terry. They think that something special can happen. And now we're going to see the extracurricular. And, yup, a flag is going to be thrown as we see pushing and shoving on that sideline of Eau Gallie. I'll never be able to decide what team I'm rooting for, Terry. It's just a plead the fifth moment for me. I grew up in Rockledge. I started my high school career at Rockledge. Played basketball, and I ran track at Rockledge, and moved on and graduated from Eau Gallie, played basketball at Eau Gallie, but still a lot of love on both sides. And really, I'm not rooting for either team. I just want to see a great game all the way around, and right now that is exactly what we're having.
I guess we kind of talked Jalen up because Jalen is now tuning in. Shout out Jalen. That's one of my workout partners when he comes home.
Shout out to Jalen Mitchell.
I'm not going to tell everybody what happened when he and I raced each other in the 40-yard dash. That's just going to be our secret, Jalen. I'm not going to tell anybody else what happened, though.
Well, Jalen is one of the legends of the Rockledge Raiders, and now being able to see his younger nephew do work on the field is very special to see. Yeah, thank you, Jalen, for tuning in, saying what's up to me and Terry. Yeah, we're in here doing this thing. 16-14, Eau Gallie leading, but we have a great game on our hands, and 9 minutes left in this third quarter. There's still a lot of time left. So a great game all the way around. And we're about to see some more fireworks, but it's going to be the Eau Gallie Commodores starting from inside their own 10-yard line. Grantland is going to hand it off, and nowhere to run for Donovan Richardson as he is swarmed by about 4 Raiders on that tackle. We mentioned earlier, Terry, Donovan Richardson is the former Rockledge Raider, so, you know, they're probably going to tackle him, and they're not going to be very nice.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Donovan's not going to be nice either, especially if he can break one and score a touchdown. So I know that's exactly what he's looking for and what he wants. So I guess the feeling is mutual.
Both sides really competing hard tonight. The first 2 touchdowns were scored by Eau Gallie, but now 14 points unanswered by the Raiders. When these two teams play, it's always a competitive matchup nonetheless. So Eau Gallie will be taking over from inside the 10 again. It's going to be a handoff, and there's going to be a little bit of room to run, but he's cut off. So now we're going to have a 3rd and long for the Commodores. And I think when it's 3rd and long like this, their recipe has been snap it to Xavier Larice and let him do his thing, Terry.
Yeah, but you don't want to be too dangerous because you're in a dangerous predicament right here. I think they have an injury that's down right now. You definitely don't want to see that.
That's Mr. Corbin. That's not the guy that you want to see down if you're Eau Gallie, but we did see him down a week ago And really, Terry, I remember that hit a week ago that he took. It was right before halftime.
Yes.
He was collared really, really rough. There was no horse collar called on the penalty. But it looks like Corbin, he's up.
And he didn't want to get off the field, but you definitely have to get off the field for one play because safety is paramount. And we got to make sure that he's good to go before he jumps back out on the field.
So I'm not 100% sure what just happened there. But it looked like there's going to be a warning from both sides as head coach for the Rockledge Raiders, John Holmes, came onto the field. You know, while these are fierce competitors and there probably is a tiny bit of hate between them, we're all good sports around here. I think John Holmes was coming onto the field to check on Mr. Corbin and see if he was okay, and it was a little chippy back and forth. Thank you, Bill Posey, for tuning into this one. Congressman Bill Posey, thank you once again for tuning into this one. We have a great game on our hands all the way around. And yes, we did have about an hour and 15-minute lightning and weather delay, but you could not ask for a more beautiful night for football, Terry.
Yeah, it definitely feels good out here, and the fans are not leaving. They're out here. They're ready to go. They're loud. They're cheering. The band is playing. The cheerleaders are cheering. You can't beat it.
3rd and 9, handoff up the middle. That's going to be T.J. Monroe on the carry. He's going to pick up about 6, but that's going to set up a 4th down, and now they're going to send out the special teams crew to punt this one away. We're about to see Xavier Larice punt it again. It's so special to see an athlete that can punt the ball. He can run the ball. He can defend at cornerback, at safety. He can play anywhere on the field. So a very special player for Eau Gallie. Now we're about to see him punt it, Terry.
Yeah, and what he's doing is padding his resume. He's letting every college team out there, letting them know, hey, I can do it all.
So the punt is away. It's a bad, bad punt. And that one went straight up and straight down. And that's going to give the Rockledge Raiders tremendous field possession as they're going to take I think they're getting the ball right about the 31-yard line on the plus side of the field. So, yes, he can punt the ball, but he did not punt that one very well.
Yeah, I don't want to say we jinxed him. You know, this is we didn't jinx him.
we didn't jinx him. He just hit that one off the wrong side of his foot. That's all it really was there. But great field position. The Rockledge Raiders will be taking over at the 33-yard line. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, I am Zane Garcia here at Commodore Stadium. That's going to be a handoff right up the middle and some room to run there for Camden Allen. We've seen him take a couple of carries tonight. That one really one of his better runs tonight. So now setting up a 2nd and medium. And Terry, that was one of our points for the success of the Rockledge Raiders offense is you don't need a big play every play. You just need to move it in moderation.
Yeah, that's definitely what you need to do. I mean, obviously you would like to see the excitement. You throw the ball down 50 yards, but that's not teaching your team anything because in the event that you need to get 5 yards, but you're trying to go for 15 to 20 yards, that's not helping your team out as much.
So Watkins is in the shotgun, and he's going to take the snap, and it's going to be a handoff once again up the middle to Allen. He's going to spin around and get right about the 1st down line. It looks like they're going to wave and give him the 1st down.
And see, Eau Gallie definitely knows what they're doing. They know that, hey, we have a field goal kicker. If we kick this field goal, we're winning. And they haven't led in this game at all. So for them to be down here and have an opportunity to lead in this game, they don't want to throw that away by making a silly play or silly mistake. So they know what they have in their kicking. And I know the coaches over there saying, hey, our time is coming. Just stick to what we taught you and we went through this entire week.
Time is ticking down. We're about at the 6-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter. It's going to be a quarterback keeper, and that's going to be about a gain of 3 there for Mr. Watkins. Thank you, Miss Tiana Coley, for the compliment about the commentary. This is a special game to me, Terry. I talked about it off air. This is 2 schools that I went to, both dear to my heart. So this is a big-time game for me. And, you know, I told you, shoot, if I could wear a helmet that had a Raider on one side and an anchor on one side, I would.
Yeah, I know this is definitely a treat for you. And I know it's hard to decide or pick which team you want to go for. So you got to remain Switzerland, also known as neutral.
The snap by Watkins. He's going to go deep, and that's going to be overthrown. He was looking for Eli Mitchell on the outside. Mitchell wanted a flag there and was unable to get it. The pass is incomplete. Mitchell was the intended target. Now, the ball was a little bit off the mark, and when you have a player that's kind of holding, and it could be a pass interference flag, if the ball is out of reach, they're not going to call that. So they'll redo it here, 3rd and medium. It's going to be a handoff, and there's going to be room to run, and it's going to be Camden Allen trekking along there. He's going to get a first down. And right now, the momentum is going from the Commodore side right over to the Rockledge side. And you have a little bit of a quote that you say about the momentum. Can you remind me of what the momentum quote is? Momentum doesn't wear a jersey, but you can feel which sideline it's standing on. That is a very sweet one right there from Terry Spain himself. And it is definitely on the sideline of the Rockledge Raiders right now. They're going to have a water break timeout as we have 4:54 left in this 3rd quarter. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. The Rockledge Raiders are marching down the field and are in the Mike Erdman red zone. This is an opportunity for them to take the lead via field goal or touchdown. The Eau Gallie Commodores scored 16 points in the first 3 minutes and 52 seconds to start this game, Terry, and Rockledge has seized momentum since.
Yeah, I mean, slow and steady wins the race, you know, and that's what they're doing. They have an opportunity now to get up by either 1 point or a few more points. So it would be great to see what they do here, but I think Coach is telling them now, look, hey, do not turn the ball over, do not get cute, execute.
We've seen some errant throws by Joseph Watkins that have led to turnovers. And really, you can't put all the blame on him for some of those throws. You know, he's just trying to make a play. But some of them, you can avoid them. So we're going to have a pitch outside. That's going to be number 2 for the Raiders, Raheem Cutter. And he gets right to the edge. He's not going to score, but he's going to be down right about the 2-yard line. So Raheem Cutter on the pitch, he was able to take it for about 9 yards, gets down to the 2-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Raheem Cutter runs hard. Like he wasn't. It took like 5 or 6 defenders to bring him down, and he ran hard and he got extra yards on that play. So congratulations to that young man for staying upright and keep moving those feet.
I'll tell you right now, Cutter cut up field and was able to get cut up about 9 yards. So,
and he's out here cutting up.
So now an opportunity for the Raiders to punch one in. They give it to Allen. He goes straight up the middle, and there's a pushback. Eau Gallie's not allowing him to get into the end zone. That's going to be still about the 2-yard line. This is a big moment right here in this ball game. Eau Gallie looking for a stand, and if they can force a field goal right here, I think that'll be kind of a win for them. While if Rockledge scores a touchdown, they can score a touchdown and still go up in this game. But I feel like stopping them to a field goal is a mini win right here for the Eau Gallie defense if they can do so. They're going to try to QB sneak it, and there's going to be a penalty. I believe that's a false start.
Yeah, it definitely is. But like I mentioned to you before about that red zone, inside the 20, the field shrinks, but the pressure multiplies.
It does. And right now it's probably tripled because if you're Rockledge and you get stopped right here and you're John Holmes, what's the decision? Do you go for it on 4th down and try to make the risky touchdown, or do you just kick the field goal and take the lead? And that's a big question that I'm going to be honest, if I was a coach, I don't know if I could answer it.
Yeah, I can answer it for you. Never take points off the board. Your team has went all the way down here. You have to reward your team and kick the field goal because you're up. You'll be winning. Because if you don't get this and Rockledge scores a quick touchdown, you're going to be kicking yourself the entire game. So if you have an opportunity, just go down there and kick the points and live to fight another day. Your defense has been playing fairly decent throughout this game. So go out there and reward your defense and say, hey, we're going to score this field goal, and we want you to go and bring us through to the next half.
Watkins is going to try to take it himself, and he has nowhere to run. So he's going to be stopped down at the 5-yard line. And I think where they're at, Terry, the analytics would say kick the field goal.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yep, they're going to bring the special team unit out here to line up for this one. It's going to be about a 20-yarder from about the 8-yard line. So setting up now, it's maybe about a 22-yard field goal.
This should be a chip shot, but I'm definitely not going to say nothing because I don't want to jinx the kick. I don't want to have the broadcaster jinx.
I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to try to jinx him, but if this was Vera, there ain't no jinx in their kicker. A poor snap, and that's blocked.
Yeah, that was a bobble snap and everything.
That was a poor snap from the get-go. The holder tried to grab it and set it up. And really, it looked like the kicker just tried to kick it off the ground and get it up in the air, and he couldn't.
Yeah, the kicker was in no man's land. He had to do something because he didn't get a good snap from his snapper, and it's unfortunate because your team went all the way down there and got 0 points out of that.
That was an enormous series of events right there, as the Raiders had the ball at the 1-yard line. False start brings them back. They lose yards and force a field goal, and then it's blocked. So a huge, huge turn of events right there for Eau Gallie, as now they will take over right about the 13-yard line, it looks. With 2.5 minutes left here in the third quarter, it is still Rockledge 14, Eau Gallie leading 16. And there's going to be a handoff offside. That's going to be TJ Monroe. He's got some room to run. He's going to scamper up that sideline for about 11. And that's going to be a first down up to the 28-yard line. So a good run there, and that's how you start it for Eau Gallie. TJ Monroe with a really good run there.
I'll tell you what, TJ, he's shifty.
He is.
Man, I mean, I love it. You can't teach speed, and he definitely has speed.
A good run there by Monroe. It's going to be first down and 10. About the 28-yard line for the Commodores. Grantland is motioning the man. That's going to be Corbin with the handoff. He's taking it right up the middle, and he's got room to run. And he will be
Look at the speed,
gone.
Zane.
That is another touchdown for Mr. Xavier Corbin. And my goodness, Terry.
Give him the game ball now.
My goodness. And, you know, I said earlier that I think he's the #1 freshman in the country. Have I convinced you at all, Terry?
I've seen some freshmen in Texas.
Okay.
And
they're eating something different out there.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm from South Carolina originally. We got 1 or 2 that's in South Carolina that's making a lot of noise too. But I will tell you what, he's in my top 5.
He is a player to watch. And I told Terry before this game even started, I actually told Terry a week ago
you sure did.
that this was the freshman showdown between Xavier Corbin and Elijah Mitchell, and we now have seen 2 touchdowns by both guys.
Yeah, and, you know, during halftime, we had an opportunity to speak to that young man, you know, Xavier Corbin, and he's all hype. He's saying that they can't guard me. You remember that? So
yeah, he's saying that, you know, just give me the ball and get out of the way.
Yeah, and apparently it's working.
So about a 72-yard rushing touchdown right there unofficially for Mr. Xavier Corbin. He has 2 touchdowns on the day now. The first one was the first score of the game, about a 55-yard touchdown. The second one being the 72-yarder you just saw. So that makes it 23-14 now. And wow, Terry, what a turn of events that Rockledge just conspired. If they would have even been able to get the field goal, you're talking about it's just a 1-possession game.
Yeah.
Or even scored, then it's really only a 2-point game. Now you're looking at it, wow, they're down by 9.
So Mr. Corbin has 2 touchdowns tonight, correct?
Correct.
3 last week.
Yes.
So in a total of 2 games, he has 5 touchdowns as a freshman.
5 touchdowns in Corbin's first 2 official games. And, you know, I kind of chuckle a little bit when I say that because it's not normal, Terry.
No, it's not. This young man, he has 5 touchdowns for a reason. You know why? Because he's a 5-star.
He is. I don't know what the ranking system looks like for freshmen, but if I was 247 Sports, I'd be ranking him a 5-star right now. So the kickoff is going to be picked up, and that's going to be the other freshman star, Elijah Mitchell. But he's going to be tackled right about the 25-yard line. Decent return. But now if you're Rockledge, you got to get the offense going, and you got to get it going now. 1:25 left here in this third quarter. There's still a lot of time.
Oh, it's definitely a lot of time.
When it comes to moving the ball down the field, if Xavier Corbin is going to score a touchdown, then, it really has to just be, you know, just put Xavier Corbin on one side and put Elijah on one side and just tell the other 10 men to get off the field and it's just one-on-one.
Watch them shine.
So Rockledge is going to take back over possession here at the 25-yard line. It's going to be the snap to Watkins, and the handoff up the middle. It goes nowhere for Camden Allen.
Yeah, Zane, I'm still just baffling over that play because that play just, honestly, it just flipped the scoreboard mood just like a light switch. It flipped it, man. I'm telling you, I've called many of games, and we're fortunate enough to watch these a few of these freshmen out here play. I'm impressed.
You know, I've never really seen many games that you see the freshmen on the field that are making the majority of the plays, and that's what we're seeing tonight as there's a deep ball, and they're going to call a pass interference on that as Elijah Mitchell once again gets free down the field. And I'm not sure who is in coverage. It looks like that was number 13, Keani Guardo. But when you have speed like Mitchell does and you can get downfield in a hurry, you almost force the defense to have to hold you.
Yeah, and I would like to see him run another route. Like that go route, they have him going. But if I like to see him do like a skinny post, that would get him even more open, and he will probably because of his speed, he'll be able to leave his defender. So, not just doing the go route, but give him a post or something to run, and he'll get even more open as what he's been already for the entire night.
So the offense is getting the call from the sideline.
And thank you for listening, Amber Carpenter. She wants to thank us for definitely calling this game. So we're honored to call this game. And these young men are definitely putting on a treat for everybody here that's watching tonight.
Yeah, thank you once again, everybody, for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, I am Zane Garcia here at Commodore Stadium, home of Eau Gallie. We just saw Xavier Corbin run a 72-yard touchdown. But, oh, my gosh. You could not ask for a cornerback to cover a wide receiver any better than that, as that was number 4, Gabe Player, on the coverage, and he read that like a book, Terry, and was all over it. But they're going to call a pass interference here. Eau Gallie side's not going to be too happy about that one.
Yeah, the entire crowd is already ticked off, because they thought that should have been a clean play.
It was a great read by Player as he stepped in the way of that pass. And frankly, if he kept his footing and there was no penalty, that was a pick 6 all the way Great coverage there by Gabe Player. A little bit too handsy, according to the refs.
Yeah.
So Rockledge will march down the field a little bit. They're going to gain 15 yards right here.
But if you're Rockledge, you take a mental note of that because you know that their corners are a little bit jumpy, right?
Yep.
So you definitely do a move to throw that cornerback off so you can have an entire field to yourself.
So Rockledge looking to try to move the ball down the field. And that was a little scamper by Allen for a few.
Also thank you, Rockledge on Indian Harbor Place and Lake Washington for sponsoring our Commodores. Also showing a notable advisor.
They ain't going to the C gap, man. Tell them go B. Tell Jake he got B gap.
I would love to see
That's why they both out.
Rockledge do a double move here because their cornerbacks are a bit antsy. And you know that's the end of the third quarter. So we got one more quarter to go.
Everybody's holding up the fours. Fourth quarter. And I'll even reminisce a little bit. When I was at Rockledge, they used to chant that fourth quarter Raider quarter. But if you're down and you're losing, I don't know if you can chant that right now. You do want to hype your guys up and get them ready to get back into that mode of going and scoring a touchdown. So we'll see what happens. I know that the Rockledge fans have showed up tonight.
Yeah, they sure have. And you know what? I'm glad they did. And, you know, it's a little breeze going on right now, Zane. You know, it was a little hot earlier, but we've been getting a breeze coming around. And I know the fans are definitely appreciating that sitting in the stands.
Yes, indeed, they are. So after an hour and 15-minute weather delay, we've had some beautiful weather. And Friday Night Lights, you couldn't ask for a better night for football. So to start our fourth quarter, the Rockledge Raiders are still trailing 23-14. We have second down and about 6. The snap by Watkins. He's going to roll out. He's going to run. And he's going to get right about the first down marker. And, wow, they're going to call a late hit out of bounds.
Roughing the passer.
That was a late hit out of bounds on Joseph Watkins. That's about another 15 yards that they'll be able to move up because of that one. And that's all mental right there, Terry. You got to be aware of something like that and realize if the quarterback's running out of bounds, don't touch him.
At all. Because they're going to call it every single time.
So a little bit of a mental error right there for the Eau Gallie side.
See, if you're Eau Gallie here, you don't want to get too upset because of that call. You're going to have to stay disciplined and play football.
And that's going to be a quarterback draw, and it's going to go nowhere.
Yeah, that didn't trick anybody on the. I think everybody knew that was going to be a quarterback draw. That didn't trick anybody.
So great wrap-up and tackle there. That was, I believe that was number 50 for the Commodores. That's Savion Johnson. He was one of my key returners when I did the high school preview a season ago. He was one of the real reasons that they were able to stop the run in the middle. So
he's a senior as well. So
Watkins in the shotgun. Takes the snap. It's going to be a screen. Elijah Mitchell is going to have to return back around. And somehow he just made something out of nothing as the throw really was 6-7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And somehow, some way, he just got a 3-yard gain out of that.
Yeah, that's just going to show you his pedigree. But also, that throw was off balance. The quarterback didn't look comfortable at all. So he got to thank his lucky stars so that he has the luxury of having a runner and a catcher that can do that. You know what I mean? He was dead to rights for the most part. So he still didn't get tackled. They tried to tackle him out of bounds, and he was still standing up. So that goes to show you the power that he has.
So about a 3rd down and 9 now. Watkins takes the snap. He's going to go deep, and that's going to be incomplete.
That ball hung up there a long time, Zane.
It did. Intended receiver there was Matthew Ford, freshman for the Raiders. And we've seen Matthew Ford already make some big plays tonight. We're going to have a timeout for an injury. But that's going to make it about a 4th and 8, 4th and 9 for the Rockledge Raiders. At this point in the game, Terry, are you punting it?
I think, we talk about what analytics would say. You got to put points on the board. You have to score twice. So you're in a predicament and a position where you can actually just go for it.
I think they are going to go for it here. Really, despite a couple huge plays by Xavier Corbin, their defense has played solid tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Rockledge try to draw them off sides because they had some definitely success with that. But it looks like they're going to punt it here, and hope that their defense can get a turnover. But I wouldn't be surprised, Zane. I wouldn't be surprised if Rockledge try to do a fake punt here.
I wouldn't be very surprised either. 10:44 left here in the 4th quarter. The Raiders trailing by 9. They need something. Now, you don't need the home run ball right now, so if you're going to do a fake and it's Watkins, then don't throw it to the end zone. Just get the 1st down. Injured player on the field was Kiani Guerdo. We already saw him have a really nice interception tonight. Nearly had 2. So he's kind of limping off the field. I believe it's just a quick cramp, and he'll probably be back in here. So we have 4th and 9 for the Rockledge Raiders.
And it looks like Eau Gallie is not trying to play for the punt. They expecting a fake here.
They are, but they're going to punt it, and it's going to be honestly a pretty good punt from where you're at. You down them inside the 15-yard line, about the 12-yard line. So with now 10:41 left here in the 4th quarter, the Rockledge Raiders will turn over the ball to the Eau Gallie Commodores and hopefully try to make a big play here defensively. If you can score within the next couple of minutes, then you still give yourself enough time.
And but you don't have to score a touchdown either, Zane. You can score a field goal. It doesn't have to be a touchdown.
That is true. You're down 9. A field goal will make it a 1-score possession. So Eau Gallie will take over. It's going to be Brody Grantlin handing it off. And it's going to be Corbin reversing field again. And here he goes. Corbin down the sideline. And he's going to be dragged down, but not all the way until the 30-yard line. That is going to be about a 65-yard run for Corbin. And my goodness.
I've seen enough.
My goodness.
I've seen enough. These freshmen are showing out tonight.
It is something to see the freshman phenoms that we have. And Xavier Corbin has shown tonight that he is not just one of the best freshmen in Brevard County, but he's one of the best freshmen in the nation as he sets up the Commodores right about the 30-yard line after that 65-yard run. A little bit of motion there. It's going to be a handoff to TJ Monroe. Monroe's going to go for about 5. And Terry, I have to say, this game, you see Brody Grantland is playing within himself. He's not trying to do too much. He's not trying to make the huge plays. You don't need him to do that. You need him really just to make the simple play. Throw it outside, throw the slant, throw the screen, and hand it off to Xavier Corbin, evidently.
Yeah. I mean, that's the formula for success, right? It's been working.
Yep. So it is Corbin and Monroe once again in the backfield for the Commodores. Grantland will take the snap. It's going to be a sweep run to Monroe, and he somehow stays on his feet, and he's going to get a first down.
That's the true definition of turning something into nothing, or nothing into something.
Honestly, I don't really know what happened there. He got grabbed on his jersey. He froze for a second and said, "Shoo," like you're a fly, and then just kept on running.
What's my word that I use? Stick-to-itiveness. That's exactly what that was right there.
Stick-to-itiveness. We're now ticking under the 9-minute mark in this ball game. 8:45 left. Grantland is in the shotgun. The handoff is going to go to Monroe once again.
We have a flag on the field. Is it? I know you were waiting for that, Zane.
I was waiting for that. I wasn't even going to make the call because I saw it right away. That is going to be a hold on the offense. Yeah, I think that was, I believe that was big number 51, Tyshawn Lang on the hold there. I could have been wrong, but it looked like he held as he tried to make room for TJ Monroe to run through the center. So it's going to be about a 1st and 20. The pitch is over to Corbin, and he's going to have to reverse field, and that time it's not going to go anywhere. The Raiders said, "We've seen you reverse field way too many times. We're not having it."
Yeah, the defense say, "Okay, you're a freshman, and we're upperclassmen, and we're going to show you who's the big dog on campus."
Absolutely. So that'll make 2nd down, and from where they're at, that's about 2nd down in Palm Bay.
Well, I think you're heading north, so it's probably 2nd down and
say probably
Sharps.
I was going to say Port St. John area for sure. And the handoff is to Corbin, and he's so slippery and elusive when he runs the ball. My goodness.
He runs high, man. I'm telling you, I'm watching him play. He runs real high.
He runs the ball like someone that I remember who is a really successful running back at Alabama is Kenyon Drake. When Kenyon Drake was a running back at Alabama, he ran real high. And Drake obviously played in the NFL, made a pretty decent career in the NFL. So it's going to be
like he's going to check himself out too. He's taking a beating, so like Corbin is coming out, right?
Corbin's going to check out the game, and it's going to be number 7 Donovan Richardson replacing him.
Oh yeah, he's been doing yeoman's work, so he's definitely tired and need a break.
Pitch play. TJ Monroe has some room to run. And he's going to get up to about the 22-yard line. That's going to set up a 4th down. So right now, you don't really have a kicking game if you're Eau Gallie. Right now, I think it's best that, honestly, you just go for it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're not even looking to do anything else but go for it because they're looking at the scoreboard and say, hey, we're winning, so we're going to make y'all score. If we don't score here or we don't get a first down here, you guys are going to have to go down there and score on us, and I have all the confidence in my defense.
The time is ticking. We are now under the 6-minute mark, 5:50 left in this ball game, and it's going to be about a 4th and 13. The Commodores are going to go for it, leading by 9 here in the 4th. Grantland is going to throw, and he has the corner of the end zone, and it was a little bit too long. Really not a bad opportunity there for Grantland to complete that pass, but it was a little bit long, and we're going to see a water break timeout with 5:31 left in this ball game. Terry, I kind of feel like it's urgency time. Rockledge is down by 9 points. They need to score quick.
Yeah, and Zane, but one of the things I want to go back to is what you mentioned. You said that Eau Gallie Rockledge didn't have Eau Gallie didn't have a kicking team, right? You didn't have a kicker. That's going to be very important as you go and play these future games when you're going to have to depend on a kicker. So they're going to have to figure that out sooner than later.
Now, they did kick an extra point on their last touchdown, but not really a consistent kicking game. That's something that they'll probably be trying to figure out throughout this season. But overall, the kicking game has not really been apparent for the Commodores.
One of the things I don't want Rockledge to do is feel like they have to get 50 yards on this play. I mean, it would be ideal for them to do that, but this is where you get into the turnover area, and we don't want them to just turn the ball back over to Eau Gallie.
So Watkins will take the snap. He swings it out, and there's some room to run, but he's tripped up. Great tackle right there by number 9, Caden Jaquez. Sorry, Jaquez.
And you want to see Rockledge move with some more sense of urgency. They're moving as if they're up by 9, but they're not. They're going to have to move a little bit at a faster pace because they have to score twice. And I think we're probably going to stop this game because I just saw another streak of lightning happen here.
Yeah, that was a streak of lightning, but I think they have to have it in a certain mile radius. So this game is going to continue on as long as we are in the 4th quarter and about over. So 4:45 left. The Raiders are down by 9. Watkins rolls out. He's going deep, and that one is nearly picked off. It was intended for Elijah Mitchell, but Watkins, I'm going to be honest, he didn't really give Elijah Mitchell a chance right there.
That ball was not catchable at all. Only person that could have caught the ball is the defender, and that's not who you're trying to throw it to.
Not at all. So now setting yourself up with a 3rd and 8. If you're Rockledge, you got to play for 4 downs because you're down. So I don't think you go for the home run ball right here. And we're going to have a timeout by Rockledge, I believe.
Hey, tell Kaden, you don't got bubbles.
So 4:36 left in this ball game. Eau Gallie leading 23-14. This kind of was what I expected, Terry. I expected it to be closer than what people may have thought, and I say that because with the backup quarterback situation for Eau Gallie, that the offense is not going to move how they would normally move. And that's just the reality of it is you're going from a 3-star quarterback who has many Division I offers to someone who's not as experienced and just doesn't have the same type of game time experience as Joseph Allen. Nothing against Brody Grantland. He's played a game manager type of game tonight, which is what you would want out of your backup. But nonetheless, they have really been able to run the ball well, and that's what's kept them ahead throughout this game. And really, I don't want to say it's all one person, but right now our Friday Night Locker Room player of the game would probably be Xavier Corbin. So it looks like we are going to have a stoppage for Lightning. There is 4:36 left in this game, 23-14. And this is an unfortunate situation, Terry, because I think both these teams are kind of ready to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, they're definitely ready to wrap it up. But if it favors anybody, it favors Rockledge.
It does.
Because you get a long timeout. You get to think things through. You get it through, and you get to draw up some more plays. But I'll tell you what, when I saw that streak of lightning a few minutes ago, I knew that they were going to stop this game because, like we talked about before, safety is definitely paramount. But I guess both teams are talking now to see if they want to continue this game. But I know Rockledge is saying, hey, yeah, we want to continue this because we still are in it. We may be down by 9, but it's 4 minutes and 36 seconds. You get one onside kick after you score, you're golden.
Now let's introduce this 2026 EG Cheer Squad.
So once again, thank you all for tuning into the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. We have 4:36 left in this matchup. We'll take the time to shout out some of our viewers. Smooth Steppa says, go to score here, Rock. They need to score right now. Amber Carpenter says, EG kicking game is slacking this season. Well, I think they're bringing in a new kicker, so it makes things a little bit difficult when you're bringing in a new one. But they don't really have much of a kicking game as of right now. Greg Tillman watching says EG with an exclamation point. EG is winning this game, but they're going to have a test next week. They got Heritage, and I'll tell you right now, this Heritage team actually has Rockledge's quarterback from a year ago, Jordan Padala. And I'll tell you right now, that young man has got an arm. I watched him in the off season, and it was just some 7-on-7 ball. It wasn't the most realistic game. I would say it was just some practice, but man, that kid's got an arm, and I'm interested to see how they finish up the game tonight against Seminole. So it looks like we are going to have the teams take the field. I guess they're saying the Lightning is not close enough in the area for us to suspend the game.
I will say this. The Lightning is out, but that wind is definitely making it feel really good outside right now. That's why a lot of the fans didn't want to leave because they got a little comfortable,
Oh, yeah. So we have 4:30 now left in this one. It's going to be Watkins taking the snap. He's going to roll out and he's going to run it. Some room to run. And he's going to pick up about 4, maybe 5. And I thought that was going to be short by about a yard or 2, but they're actually going to mark him right about the first down. They're going to give him the first down. So I guess my judgment is poor because I thought he was about short a yard, but they gave it to him.
Yeah, they definitely gave it to him. You got to give an E for effort, too, because he was definitely going to be stopped before he gets scored at.
Watkins takes
that
the
first
snap.
down.
He's going to run up the middle, and he's going to be sacked. It was number 14 for the Eau Gallie Commodores, John Adams, who is there. That's a big, big time sack because that clock's running. You now are down to about 3.5 minutes left in this game, and Rockledge needs 2 scores. They don't need just 1 score and tie it up. They need 2 scores, and that goes back, Terry, to that one possession that they had the ball at the 30-yard line, and then they weren't able to get that field goal. That was a huge turn of events.
Yeah, and there's no sense of urgency here, too. I don't know why. They definitely have to put some points on the board, but they're just walking kind of casually.
That throw is caught, and that's going to be a first down to Mike Gonzalez as he's going to get up to the Commodores side of the field, about the 46-yard line. About a 22-yard gain there, and that's the type of movement you want if you're the Raiders.
Yeah, you got to speed it up a little bit, too. And, kudos to Eau Gallie for going for 2 twice, which is putting them in having this luxury of being up.
Yep. So Watkins will take the snap. It's going to be a tunnel screen, and nearly picked off. My goodness.
Extremely dangerous pass.
And you see Captain Roll right there taking the
push-up.
the 10 push-up challenge after you drop an interception. That's what coach is going to tell you. Drop down and give me some.
Yeah, Admiral, you're gonna have to. He saw it. He was ready to say all aboard because he was going to take that all the way to the house.
He was going to. The tunnel screen unsuccessful right there. 2:42 left in this one. The clock stops on the incomplete pass. So that's going to be the second down and 10 from the 46. Watkins going to step up and throw. He's going to be hit as he's thrown.
Good catch.
And it's caught. That one floated, Terry, and he's lucky that his man was there and ready to catch that ball. That was number 4, Elijah Floyd on the reception.
I tell you what, the quarterback's going to have to give. He's going to have to buy Elijah Floyd some lunch because he definitely bailed him out. His arm was hit as he was throwing the ball, but good job on Elijah Floyd for catching that. He's going to have to. The quarterback's going to have to buy him some lunch tomorrow.
That was a big-time play right there. So 2.5 less, actually about 2:10 left in this game now. So they're going to have to hurry this thing up. That's going to be a screen, and he's going to be popped. Wow. The screen pass was over to the side to Mike Gonzalez, and Captain Roll came up and popped him.
Look, the Admiral was waiting. I have to be honest with you. He was sitting there waiting. I saw that entire play. He just sat there and waited patiently, waited for the receiver to try to catch the ball and lit him up like the 4th of July.
When you read a screen like that, it's no better feeling to be able to get to the ball and just lay the lumber on the wide receiver if you're the defensive back. So now 2nd and 10, 1:58 left. They're at about the 30-yard line. A touchdown needed here for the Raiders. Watkins rolling out. It's going to be thrown and incomplete. It could have been caught by actually 2 different Raiders. Teeter and Mitchell were both in the area, but that one was a fastball. He threw that one probably 60, 70 miles an hour, and the hands were not ready for it, Terry.
Yeah, the only positive thing that happened on that is that he didn't catch it, so the clock stops.
And this part of the field, I think this is, I don't think Eau Gallie is going to allow it, but I think this is where you got to utilize big number 12 Matthew Ford, 6'2", 6'3". We've already seen him be able to catch some jump passes, and they're going to go deep, and it's going to be Elijah Mitchell, and it is incomplete. Great coverage right there by Captain Roll. Elijah Mitchell was the intended receiver right there. He did kind of have a chance at it, but making contact was Captain Roll, and the pass will fall incomplete.
Yeah, he didn't set it. He didn't set his receiver up for that pass as he should have. But it was a good job on the receiver trying to catch it, but it was a tough one because the defender was ready. But that length that we talked about before on those DBs that they have, they're making a big difference.
So now down to 1:44, and this is 4th down. This is it right here. And they're going to go to the end zone, and it is going to be incomplete, nearly caught. But Eau Gallie is going to take over on downs, and they're going to hold on to this one 23-14. I got to give it to Rockledge, though. They came up and really they showed up and played hard.
Yeah.
I would say that Eau Gallie had a harder time moving the ball after those first 2 touchdowns, as they scored in the first 3 minutes and 50 seconds, scoring 2 touchdowns. But then after that, they really didn't move the ball well, and it was the Raiders who were able to kind of seize momentum a little bit. But, man, it's Xavier Corbin and everybody else, it feels like, because there's a lot of key contributors for this Eau Gallie team, but you give the ball to Corbin and move out the way. And here he goes again as he slips out of that. But T.J. Monroe, Xavier Corbin, Donovan Richardson, we've seen Xavier Larice carry the ball. We've seen all of them carry the ball and do a pretty good job of it tonight. But Corbin has got to be the player, really the player that's been doing the majority of the load for the Eau Gallie Commodores, excuse me.
Yeah, and he's the reason why they have 23 points.
He is. The captain roll touchdown, that was the second score of the game, was really from the 6-yard line, so it was kind of a inside the red zone touchdown, but a big play. And that was a nice stiff arm there by Donovan Richardson as he's able to pick up the first down. And I think he went out of bounds. Not sure. They're going to actually, he stayed in. That time's going to tick, and we are down now to 30 seconds.
Yeah, you see the fans trying to empty the stands right now because they know that it's over. I mean, a good job by Eau Gallie for them, performing in front of their crowd. After that tough loss they had last week against Vero Beach, so now they're 1-1, and they have a really good game next week.
So 1-1 for the Eau Gallie Commodores. Rockledge will fall to 0-2. Eau Gallie will face the Heritage Panthers a week from today. And Rockledge will have a steep climb as they are 0-2. And if they want to compete in the postseason, Terry, they're going to have to change some things, especially really on the offense. Defense played well.
Yeah, the defense played great, but they're going to have to definitely come up with some plays. You don't have to be a 50-yard bomb every time or a screen play. You have to recognize what's open and what's given to you, and they didn't utilize the middle as much as they should or they could have, because this game could have been a lot different if they were able to do that.
So from Commodore Stadium here at Eau Gallie, it is the Eau Gallie Commodores winning this one 23-14. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, I am Zane Garcia. Any last thoughts or comments, Terry?
No, like we mentioned before on the last broadcast that we did last week, we were able to see freshmen show up and show out. And the exact same thing has happened this week. So I'm excited. So I want to definitely congratulate all the freshmen who have come out here and made a difference. And also both teams as well. And thanks again for everybody for tuning in. We want to thank everybody that came out to watch these young men play. We want to definitely shout out the band, and we want to shout out the cheerleaders as well.
So once again, thank you all for tuning in. And tune in next week on the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily to see some more great games around the county. But the final here from Commodore Stadium, Eau Gallie 23, Rockledge 14. Everyone, thank you again for tuning in. Anthony Turner with a big statement saying Eau Gallie is the #1 team in the county in his opinion. And right now, people could argue it.
Yes.
Coco not really looking too sharp tonight. Merritt Island, if anyone knows the final on that one, Melbourne and Merritt Island competing tonight. So really, Eau Gallie has their backup quarterback, but they have a lot of talent, and they showed it tonight. They beat Rockledge 23-14. The defense showed up on both sides, and you kind of saw Eau Gallie lose some of the momentum that they had brought upon themselves in the first couple of minutes of the game. But really, it was the Xavier Corbin show tonight, Terry.
Yeah.
He is our Friday Night Locker Room player of the game.
Yeah, you're not going to get an argument out of me on that one, Zane. That young man laid it all out on the line and on the field, and he displayed, and he said, I may be a freshman, but I run like a senior.
So once again, thank you all for tuning in. We hope that you all have a great Labor Day weekend. Stay safe and tune in next Friday